A college student lies his way across the country to make it home for Christmas with his family and win his dad's Porsche.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle,
Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 131.
they didn't hear it. It's okay.
That remains to be seen. I'll have to check the recording.
I'm very happy right now. Andre and Michelle brought Oreos to the house.
That's
And
right.
Twinkie.
We brought a single package of a Twinkie to share amongst 4 people.
Well, what I did was I bought a Twinkie pack because it has 2, and a Hostess cupcake pack because it has 2.
Uh-huh.
And then I said, there's 4 of us, so do you want the Twinkie or the cupcake? And Emily was like, well, I like the cupcake, but I kind of want to try the Twinkie. So I cut the Twinkies into quarters and the cupcakes into quarters, and we have both.
Hashtag always snacking.
And now we have a
Long
family-
story short, I'm
family
very
size
happy.
Oreo pack as well. You know, if anything to get me through the rest of this year, okay? Give me those sweets.
That's right. It's almost over. This week, we are talking about the 1998 live-action Disney film, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Okay, you're making it, when you say it like that, you're making it sound like it's an old person movie.
Hey, you
This
let
is-
Bing Crosby sing, okay?
This movie came
I'll be home
out
for Christmas.
22 years ago.
It did.
It is for
And
old
I
people.
am 27.
And we are those old people.
This movie's almost as old
I
as
was
me.
going to say, actually, you're about to be 30, but then I forgot
No,
that was
Andre's
me.
about to be 30.
Right, yeah.
That was me and Andre, not you.
us.
Not me.
Dang
I got
it.
another
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
years. I'm the youngin' of this group.
Enjoy it while it lasts. You know, once you get
So-
past that age, it just
Just going to
everything
quarantine the
starts
rest of your 20s. It's
flying
fine.
by. It's all downhill from here.
Buy me a bottle of liquor, I'll be good. Okay.
All right.
Put it in the eggnog. Swirl, swirl. Okay,
This
so.
movie
Swirl,
stars
Swirl, swirl.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas and
Jessica
Biel, and it was directed by Mr. or Miss Arlene Sanford.
Mrs.
Mrs.
Mr. Arlene. I don't think so.
What else has she directed? Pretty Little Liars. Okay,
I
Get
watched
outta
that
here.
TV show.
that makes sense.
Okay, so this was my Christmas movie pick because this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's not just my favorite
Of
Christmas.
all time.
Of all time.
I was quoting this movie like crazy as
I
we were
don't doubt
watching
it. She's been begging for this movie for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh yeah.
I really like this movie. Like, I could watch.
Of all time.
It's a top.
If the script
like,
for this movie is 90 pages, Michelle knows 88 pages. Okay.
No, I
Back
probably know
to
90.
back.
Like, that's how much Andre was like, geez, you really know. To the point of the background music, like when the yodeling started, I was like, yodel lady, yodel, yodel, yodel,
At the
yodel,
Bavarian
yodel,
village.
yodel, yodel, yodel.
She yodeled the entire scene. Even when there's dialogue talking over the yodeling, she still knows the yodels.
Yeah, I really like this movie. So we
Okay.
already know my first impression. It's still good. I liked it as a kid. I liked it as a teen. I liked it as a young adult, and I still like it now.
As
And
an old adult.
as a 27-year-old adult.
As a dead adult.
And I'll probably still like it in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Like, I just like this movie.
Oh my God,
And
Michelle sitting in
There's just a movie. I like it.
a hover rocking chair, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas is on the screen.
And
She's
you
like,
know,
this is my favorite
It's not, I don't even
movie."
care about Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Like, he's annoying. But I just like this movie because there's, like, no downtime. It's, like, one adventure to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's really good. And I like it. Keeps me on my toes. And it was probably, like, really
It probably
enticing.
does not keep you on your toes
Well,
anymore.
not anymore because I haven't memorized. But I think as a kid, it was, like, enticing. Like, oh, snap, this thing's happening. Now
Mhm.
this, now this. And that's probably why I liked it so much.
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't agree with me, but we'll get to that.
Oh.
We'll
Okay,
find
first
out
impression.
later.
Mr. Andre.
Oh, my
So
turn.
this is what is this your
This
second
is
impression?
My second viewing of this film. The first time
Was a couple years ago.
was a couple years ago when Michelle sat me down and forced me to watch it.
She said, "If you gonna make this marriage work,
No, it was when we were dating, when we first moved
oh
in.
God,
I
if
said,
you're gonna make this relationship work,
I was like, you're watching this. This is my favorite Christmas movie.
And I was like, okay, and I did, and I haven't again until now. This movie is it's fun. It has a lot of fun adventures. I really like Jonathan Taylor Thomas in it, actually, because he is
Such a
very
con man.
smarmy and conny. He kind of weirdly enough,
dude's a feather merchant.
he reminds me of Han Solo.
I thought you said Aladdin too.
and Aladdin.
For sure,
he's a
both of them.
Compulsive liar that can talk his way out of anything. He's a silver tongue, and it's really funny to watch him make up stories on the spot that shouldn't be very believable, but he's just so charming that everyone around him is like, "Oh my God, the liver!
I made
to
the comment that this is probably the movie where I learned how to lie because he lies so much. And I'm like, this is definitely where I learned how to lie. It was this movie because he lies so much.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous.
constantly.
But you liked it?
But yes, I liked it.
Very
She
good.
needs you to say it.
Luis.
Luis.
Did he actually watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
He
Yes.
definitely did.
Um,
Can we preface with how we talked about watching it before we watched it? So yesterday, he came home from work, and we live relatively near a Dutch Bros. And if you've never had Dutch Bros coffee, like, you
delicious.
need to get on it because it's good. Anywho, they just built one pretty close to our house, and we were like, let's go walk there, get a hot chocolate, come home, then we'll have dinner and we'll do whatever.
That's a good idea.
So we walked, and we came back. We were energized. We were feeling good. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? We're going to watch this movie, and I'm going to go into it with a good attitude. Like, I hope that it makes me laugh. Like, I want it to feel good.
Right.
I'm so glad.
Like, I don't want to not like it, you know?
I'm glad you went into it with that attitude.
Yeah, I wanted to like it. So, go ahead, Luis. He agreed that he wanted to like it.
Open-minded.
hold on, let me think.
Oh, he's saying I would word this not to hurt my feelings, huh?
When has he ever cared about hurting your feelings?
That's
Yeah.
true.
How open is that mind still? How closed down has it become?
I usually have agreed with Michelle on how good a movie is as many times as I have kids.
Okay.
Which is twice, 2.
Wow.
So,
This is episode 131.
yeah, really. Girl, you're like at a 0.5%, like...
That's
Yeah.
not true. During Michelle's Mayhem month, we
It's
liked
fine.
most of her movies.
Most of them. I think there was one botch. Yeah.
It's your movies that nobody liked.
Togo,
Good dinosaur.
Togo was good.
Who, my movies?
Yeah.
Togo was
talking
very
about?
Your movie.
No one's ever complained.
The Big Green.
I thought you were going to say the big burrito. I was like, the what?
No
No,
one's
that
ever
movie is great.
Okay,
complained.
the suspense is killing me. Did you like it or not?
Oh, it was good. I liked it.
Thank goodness.
Stupid.
I'll take it. It was good. I like it from Luis. Why are you laughing so much?
It was he started his first impression at 6 minutes and 42 seconds, and then he ended his first impression at 7 minutes and 51 seconds. It took a whole minute and 11
For him to
seconds.
say it was good, I liked
For
it.
him to say it was good, I liked it.
Well, I had to swallow a lot of pride to agree with you for once.
There it is.
So,
Well, I'm happy that you at least liked it. Emily.
I liked it. It was pretty cute. It took me a while to get rolling, like to understand like where the movie was going.
Right.
But once we were on the road,
Yeah.
it was smooth sailing. It was the collegey, not college part where
Like
I
a
was like,
setup.
It was
what
so
is
weird. It was like super.
they were not in college. That's
the
ridiculous.
explanation or whatever you call that? What when you pop it up, what is that called?
bio.
The description, the bio?
Yeah, the
Like
bio.
said college student, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I have it right here. It says a college student faces an impossible journey when he is left stranded in the desert thousands of miles
Yeah,
from
he
home
just goes
with no
to
money.
like a private academy college.
Well,
That's how I took it.
But they were 18 and he'd been there for 2 years. So it
yeah,
was
I
like,
think it was
Oh.
a prep, like a prep school, boarding school.
Interesting.
Okay.
The
But-
My
lockers
opinion.
did throw me off like a lot.
well, and how small his little friend was.
They were like walking around their little school, and I saw like they look like high school age, and I was like, oh wow, they really cast 18-year-olds for this part in this high school college film, I guess. But no, I guess they were all just supposed to be high schoolers.
But neither here nor there.
Yes.
My first impression is I liked it once we're on the road. Once we're on the
Yeah.
road, I have little issues, but it's more like you just have to go along with it because
Yeah.
it's a Disney
Right.
Christmas. It's a Disney movie and it's a Christmas movie.
As soon as you have a problem with the character, he's moved on to somebody
Yeah.
else. Yeah. That's
I
right.
really liked Nelson or whatever his name was.
Which one was Nelson?
I don't know.
Oh man, that one. I went and killed Santa.
Yeah. Was his name Nelson?
Nolan.
No, Nolan. I
He's
like
trying to
Nolan.
find his tomato.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was so high. Don't even give
I
it to me.
mean-
Like he was.
Well, that 2-time no.
All right, let's get into the plot a little bit.
I was not expecting
To
that.
explain
Neither was
ourselves.
Andre. He was all, oh.
He was like,
I was like, yeah, PG, baby.
was that PG?
Yeah, PG.
Yes, this movie's rated PG.
It said 2-time and ho.
Yeah, 2-time and ho.
It's
It
PG.
was spelled H-O. not-
But they couldn't say. They still had to say
Hey,
arsehole.
come on, man.
They said butthole.
Butthole.
Anywho, this movie begins with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He starts out lying. He's
A lion?
Are we gonna call him JTT? Are we gonna call him by his name?
he is a lion. He played Simba in The Lion King.
As a
Yeah,
child?
back in the
child.
day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, JTT.
He's OG Simba. He's at the school that we have determined is neither college nor high school, but a weird hybrid. And so he lives
Preparatory.
there away from home. It's on the other side of the country from where he lives, from where his parents live.
Yeah.
He's been
Which
there.
makes even less sense, but whatever.
Right.
I think
He's-
it's like you're sending your kid away to like boarding school or something, you know.
I guess you're sending your 16-year-old away.
See, I thought it was college. It made sense. He was like, I'm just gonna go to college way far from here.
Right.
You know?
That's what I thought was happening. But no, he's there by himself. He is letting his friend out of a locker because his friend is there to help with getting answers for tests and writing him essays
12,
and stuff
22,
like that.
14.
That's the
Locker combination because
combination
he's stuck
get
inside
him
there.
out.
14, Jake, 14.
because he's been bullied.
by
That-
the Ed man.
That's another indication that it's not college. Like people don't have
That's
time
true.
to just be shoving people in lockers in college. I don't
Like,
think.
who is bullying someone when you're 20 years old?
Right?
That's true.
Trump followers, that
yeah,
too.
yeah, getting assault charges and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry.
Nope. Everything you said was correct. So Jake, he makes his way through the school. He goes and visits his girlfriend, who is studying in her dorm room. He bribes.
she in there sleeping. She ain't doing
Well,
nothing.
okay, she's
Oh,
supposed to be
Jessica
studying.
Biel? Yeah.
He bribes her roommate into letting him in with like cherry chocolate bars or some kind of crazy thing. She's like a basketball player.
Cherry Crunch.
Cherry Crunch. That's right. Yeah. Why don't you just hit me with hit
Wow,
them-
you're doing great.
hit me with them details. He bribes
It
her.
kind of like freaks
She
me out
loves it.
though. Yeah, like it kind of freaked me out because he knew, like, obviously that she liked this kid.
knew
And this
exactly
is
what
like
she
the
liked.
first indication that he's a con man.
He brought her
Yeah.
like 8 of them, and he was like, "Hey, wouldn't you like to enjoy that somewhere else that's not here?"
and he
kicked
and
her
she
out.
like gets it, and she like it made me freak out a little because she like bit into it and was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like it was life changing. Like,
It
can you
was
not?
really weird. What are these bars? I need a brand name on these bad boys. I gotta try one.
Strawberry crunch,
Yeah,
Cherry
crunch,
Crunch.
Cherry Crunch. Excuses. He slides.
fruit crunch.
He slides into Jessica Biel's bed, where she lays sleeping. And,
Not studying.
and then he lays some smooth line on her. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, she wakes up and she's like, What are you doing here? And he's like, well, you say you always wondered what it would be like to wake up next to me.
Boom.
This is where
Got
Michelle
her.
got all of her ideas of grandeur pre-Andre.
Probably. and then she's like, I gotta go study. And he's like, but here, I brought you eggnog. And she's like, oh, that's nice. And then he's like, and it's also snowing outside. And she's like, what?
Right. Keep in mind they're in like L.A. or San Diego or something
Diego,
like that.
I think. Yeah.
And so it's definitely not snowing where they are. They turn around and it's the friend that was in the locker, and he's shaking some fake snow. Oh, my phone's over here. How did you do that? And he's shaking some fake snow from up on the roof. It's very, very sweet. We go through the school and we basically find out that Jake is
No, you're skipping. So that's not the only thing he does.
Okay.
Then he lays it on her. He's like, by the way, we're not going home for Christmas. I bought you 2 tickets to Cabo. We're going to spend Christmas on the beach.
Cabo San
And
Lucas,
she like
baby.
slams the tickets into him and is like, you're an idiot. Because first of all, I think she's supposed to leave for home like tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
And he cashed in his tickets to buy 2 tickets to Cabo. And she's like, no,
Right. I
we're
have
not
go
going to
see my
Cabo.
family.
You're selfish. I want to go see my family.
Mhm.
Right. Which I'm like, you didn't want to like plan this 2 months in advance. Like, hey, let's go to Cabo for Christmas. Nah, it was just a like, We're going to Cabo, girl.
And it's not like she's just some girl he met, 2 weeks ago, and they're going on a romp together or whatever.
No, it's
He's
his
known this
girlfriend
girl
for a while.
his entire life.
Yeah.
They grew up in the same town. They live like 5 doors down from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows her family. And he knows that she's going home to see them.
He does
I think
not.
that's why. I
yeah.
think that's why I'm disjointed in the beginning, because you get the feel that he knows a lot about her backstory, but like you don't really realize how much, or that they lived in the same
Yeah.
town. Like I
Right,
got
the way
that they
he's-
both were across the country, but not like they.
That's true. They
went
never
to-
explicitly say that.
Mhm.
Right. That they like came over to the school together.
Right.
Probably,
Anyway, so she leaves and they're like walking through the street arguing.
Who's letting their boy and girl, boy and girl, boy, girl, go all the way across the country to some preparatory
know.
school?
All right.
Crazy, huh?
You guys, we'll see you guys soon. Your dorm rooms are 15 feet away from each other.
Basically.
At
Bye.
least 6 feet, social distance.
So after this, they're like arguing through the school, and they go outside, right? And they're still arguing, and she's like, She always calls him a butthole a lot. She's like, "You're an idiot. I'm going home for Christmas just because you don't want to." And then she kind of lays some info, like, I think his mom had died 10 months ago, and his dad's already remarried, like has a
Right.
stepmom, and so he like doesn't want to go home. Really, you know what I mean?
Well,
but
that's a number one problem. 10 months, like.
Luis,
I mean,
Luis
yeah.
was upset about that.
was he?
He'd only been, by himself for 10 months, and now he's got himself another girl. He's
I
getting
mean, that's really
married.
quick. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I don't
very
blame
fast.
the son for kind of not really
I
wanting
mean,
to
they
go
could have
home.
had another baby in that amount of time. Like, that's quick.
And also, he's
Right.
18, so like think about just how like teenager emotions are. He ain't going home. There's no way. He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want
But
to.
she obviously does and
I
wants
would
to go
have still
see
gone
her
to
family.
Cabo. Bye.
So the best part
Yeah.
of the
I don't
scene
need
though
no girl.
is that they're arguing, and then you see this guy in his freaking car or his Beamer,
Oh, his
and he's like,
Jeep
"Hey,
or
baby,
whatever.
oh, the Ed man always
Eddie.
talks about himself in third person."
Gross. Gross.
And he's like, "Hey," I don't know what he says. Something about, he's like, "Hey, baby, you smell good today. What perfume you wearing?" And she's like, "Get out of here." And he's like, "'Cause I got 3 words for you: new car, smell, and it would smell so good on you, baby. Get in here."
Yeah, keep in mind, Jonathan Taylor Thomas has his arm around Jessica Biel, right? Like they're obviously together.
He does not care.
And they're like having a conversation, and this fool is just like, "Hey, baby, what's
You can tell
good?"
he's been trying to get with this girl for a long time, and she's like, "Please stop." Like, I
Nothing
am
will
taken.
stop me from trying to lay with you, lady.
Stop. I don't
Guess not.
trying to lay with you, baby.
And he's right. He continues for
Here's
the entire
another.
movie trying to
This
lay.
is another moment of insight into Andre and Michelle's relationship.
Can't stop, won't stop. So yeah, Eddie is hitting on her ferociously.
The Andre man.
And-
The Dre man.
And he's talking to her while he's backing up in his car to like talk to her, and then he like hits another car.
Oh.
Idiot.
Eddie, one word for you. Beamer. Huh? Beamer. And then he smashes into
You
it.
could feel it. You knew it was coming because
Oh,
he
yeah.
had been backing up for like a hot second, not looking at any
not looking
rearview
at
mirrors.
anything
Yeah.
but Jessica Biel's face.
Anyway, so she's like still kind of mad at him and goes about her way. She has to go to her final, right?
What's
So-
her name in this movie?
Allie.
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 Yeah. So Jake, you can tell he's a con man from the beginning, right? Like he has these plans. So
But he has
Eddie,
legitimate businesses at the school.
he does have businesses at the school. So Eddie and his
He
two,
must be selling drugs on the side. Like, don't tell me he's
I don't
doing all this
remember.
other stuff.
Maybe he hasn't
He-
gotten there yet because the test thing is working out. So
Yeah,
far.
he seems like he's doing his test thing. So he has, it's like him and the Brad man, right? And the Ed man. And we were like, whoa, I don't know. They're talking about something.
The
and
jocks.
The jocks,
Yeah,
yeah.
all the
And
basketball
he's like,
players.
well, you guys are I'm going to guarantee you're going to pass your history exam.
We'll give you
And,
all the answers
they're,
for
and
free.
they're like, it won't cost anything. He's like, no, the answers are free, but there is a nominal fee for this beeper.
and he hands them all beepers. Okay, and then the jocks go.
I was like, beepers? Oh, yeah, we're in the
That's
90s,
98, baby.
beepers.
The jocks go to take their test. Did they say what it was? A history test?
History.
It's a history test. So they
That was the other indicator to me that it was like high school-ish.
Yeah.
Because they kept saying like math, science, history. It wasn't like
And French.
yeah,
right.
French.
No majors.
It wasn't
at
like
the school.
statistics 101 or whatever. Anthropology.
So the jocks are in there. They're taking their test, and the plot begins right where Jonathan Taylor Thomas they throw a test out to him out the window. The teacher doesn't notice this. And then they all pull up their beepers just in their hands. Just looking at them.
Teacher also doesn't care.
Teacher doesn't care about that.
And they start beeping.
They start beeping because Jake and his little nerd buddy are pulling the answers from the internet and beeping beeping the answers to them one by one. So their beepers are going off hundreds of times because they need every answer to this test. And they're just like, sorry, coach, he's got to be able to reach us. So we're all just going to look at our beepers for an hour and a half while we take this test.
Luis and I looked at each other and we're like, this is... It's funny because it's not. It's funny for the time period, but that is it doesn't hold up because of
cell phones.
Well, cell phones and technology, but like because of the social shift, like with that technology over time, like in schools and stuff, you could never do that now, and like
absolutely not.
It's just, it was cute. Like I like how they were how they were doing it, but at the same time, I'm like, teacher, get over there and smack someone upside the head. Do a
My
snake.
teacher did not care. She was like, I'm trying to go home for the holidays. Okay,
Yeah,
we
guess
got
so.
one more final away.
She's like, I don't even like you. I don't even care.
The Ed man,
Do what you want.
Eddie, he walks, he sees what they're doing, and he like stuffs them in a locker again, right? And then puts them on the beeper, says game over. And so obviously they didn't pass the test because they didn't get the answers.
Right.
So then they're at the party that evening. Na, 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 na,
So this is where I'm back to thinking it's college, okay? They got the red cups. They out there in their Hawaiian shirts, and they are ripping it up. They're partying.
Yeah, that's why I
hard.
was like, oh, it's college, at a college party. And Andre was like, this has to be a party school because all these people are dumb.
Yeah, I thought they were at Chico or something like that because shout outs to everybody I know who went to Chico.
It honestly looks like CSU Channel Islands, and I was like, oh my god, that's where they're at. But then I did some research, and most of it was filmed in Canada, and I was like,
Oh, really?
What in
See, I thought they were like in San Diego or something because obviously they're like in skirts and shorts, and it's like December, and I was like,
Right. I mean,
So-
it's a very SoCal school.
Anyways,
Regardless.
all the while during this, he makes up with his girlfriend because his dad gives him a call and is like,
Son, come home.
if you come home for Christmas, I'll give you the Porsche.
The Porsche, the 1957 Porsche,
And,
the
like,
engine.
I mean, I've watched this movie a million times, but definitely for the podcast, I was watching this with such more of a critical eye. And I was just like, this dad sucks. Number one, he remarried after 10 months. And number two, he's bribing his kid with a Porsche to come home for Christmas.
Listen, Dad's going through a lot, okay? His wife just died, and now that he's found happiness once again, his son is completely distant. Now he's got to give up his Porsche just to get his son back. It's a whole cavalcade of a mess.
And Andre was
Or
like, he'd
Gary
rather
Cole.
give him the Porsche than lose the relationship with his son. I'm like, I don't know. How do you feel about that,
Nah,
Luis? Did you think that was
no.
bad parenting to
Awful
give him the
parenting.
Porsche? Yeah.
Awful.
I mean, I get it because he has to have a bribe to go on this adventure. Like, the movie's literally called I'll Be Home for Christmas, and he has to get home. So it was just kind of weird that they were, like, bribing him with a Porsche.
Nah, you don't come home by then. You're not going back next semester.
Right. So
Why
that
He's
not? Why
18
not?
now, though. This kid's 18.
that's the thing that
Well, it don't matter because they
I ain't
still
paying
have to
for it.
finish the school year. So, I ain't
Right.
paying for it.
that's the thing
Get your rear end over here.
with my thinking on it, because I was thinking that he was already 18 or 20 or something like that, a little bit further under his parents' control, and thinking that if the dad were to call him and threaten him with cutting him off or whatever, that Jake is such a smarmy little liar that he'd be able to make it on his own, and he would never see Jake ever again because he would con his way into a whole new life or whatever. So bribing him with the Porsche is the only way to get him to come back home.
Okay.
But thinking of him as younger and probably not as self-sustaining as I initially thought, even though his cheating test career seems to be booming.
He, like, literally cashed in his dad's plane ticket to 2 tickets to Cabo, like, by hacking into the system.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure this kid can take care of himself, but, like, it is ridiculous.
He's doing a lot.
And then he tells his girlfriend, Allie, he's like, I'm just kidding. I cashed these tickets back for 2 tickets to New York because, like, that's where they're from. And she's all like, oh, nice. But, like, he's only doing it so he gets the Porsche, obviously.
Right.
Which is
But he
like,
does not tell her that.
No, of course not. Who would tell the girlfriend that?
well, and that's when I got confused because I wish they had been like some kind of indication that they had been together before they got to school, because he's like, just come home with me for Christmas. And I'm like, so all of a sudden you're cool
So
with
she's
going.
gonna give up going with her family and go.
Yeah, that's
home
why
with
I
your
was
family?
confused. So I was like, so you would be okay with going
Yeah.
to his house,
Right.
but not
You know,
Cabo?
that makes a lot of sense because I've seen this so many times that I know all of this already. But you're right, you don't really know towards the end of the movie that that's the case.
Yeah. Like I did not make that connection until he like drove the sleigh to her house, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's literally right there.
Like there should have been a line like, "You guys have been together since middle school" or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, something
Like
something
one
to,
line.
to indicate
Yeah.
that they were from the same place.
Yeah, I agree. So at this point, you know, he's at the party telling all his friends that he's going to be driving a Porsche when he goes home for Christmas.
There was a line, actually. I'm
Oh, was there?
sorry.
Was
Yeah.
there?
When
Right at the beginning.
we all missed it.
Dad was like, I already spoke to so-and-so's parents. She's
Oh,
coming
you're
home."
right. I spoke to
But
Allie's
I
parents.
did hear that, but that also was confusing to me because I was like,
Maybe he met her last Christmas and got
Yeah, I don't
parents'
know.
phone number or something like that.
You're right. He did say that, Louis.
he did say that.
But you're
My
right.
impression was they were from the same place at that point.
Right.
Mm.
Literally missed that. Yeah.
Good
Okay.
one, Lou. Good one. So, yeah, he's at the party telling his friends that he's going to have a Porsche and blah, blah, blah. But then the Ed man and the Brad man
Eddie
and the other
Jock
homie,
show up.
they come and
men.
they're like, we got to talk to you, right? And next thing we know, he's waking up in a desert in a Santa suit.
So here's what must have happened.
Oh, we were talking about this for a long
Roofied.
time.
So
He
let me
so
give my
got
2
roofied
cents.
and knocked out.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. There's no
Roofied.
way.
There's no way. And if I'm thinking if they're in San Diego, that they had to drive him inland like at least an hour or two to like put him there. And Andre's
Get him
like,
in
they
the
should get
desert.
arrested for so many things.
Yeah, it's
Like-
kidnapping, it's assault, it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's theft, it's all kinds of stuff. They took his clothes.
Yeah.
We don't know where his clothes
You
and his
agree
wallet
that
and
it's
stuff
roofied
went.
though, because I think as a kid when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh no, he got really drunk and knocked out, and then they did this to him as a prank."
No,
Like I
he
think
got
that's what I
roofied.
was thinking, but now I'm like, "Oh, they drugged him
They-
for sure. Put him in the trunk of a car and
Oh, yeah.
drove him out to the desert.
It's,
glued a hat and a beard on him, put him in a Santa suit, and left him there with no ID, no money, no anything.
It's aggressive
Yeah.
Basically,
Very
to
bad.
die.
because
It's awful.
anybody who couldn't
so funny as a kid.
anybody else who, like me, for instance, who couldn't scam their way across the country back home or whatever, I would have just been stranded and
In the middle of the desert.
dead and eaten by vultures. And it would have all been because of Eddie, who's been trying to steal my girlfriend this whole movie.
Santa Desert Buzzard Tumbleweed, dude. I do.
Santa Desert Buzzard Tumbleweed.
So Allie is waiting the next morning, like, okay, where's Jake? Because we have to drive to the airport. And obviously he doesn't show up. She calls him a million times. Well, he doesn't have his phone. He's in the desert. So who shows up? The Edman.
You need a ride, babe.
And this is where my thing was. Okay, so he's offering her a ride across the country. And she's like, well, I literally have no choice because the other kids who were driving back home to the east have already left. Right?
So wait, was that her?
But I don't understand why he didn't just drive her to the airport and she could have used her ticket. But unless Jake had the tickets.
So okay, her getting home for Christmas plans.
Was going with some other girl.
I guess so.
She was
Or-
going to drive home with her roommate.
Oh.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
she had already left because
She had already left.
she had made arrangements with Jake.
Because she couldn't call her to come back really quick. You know, there
Right.
wouldn't be a storyline. I get it. But what
I
is-
guess this is pre-cell
does Eddie
phones.
have, like, no parents nowhere to be? Like, nowhere to be for Christmas? And he is trying to lay with this girl so hard that he is like, I will drive you all the way across the country. Sure. I'll do it.
And I'm a dude, so I don't really
Sometimes
know.
you're
Would
trying to
you
get
do
it
that?
in.
But if I was Allie and my only option was Edman or stay here and call my parents and have them wire me money and
Yeah.
get on a different plane, I'm not going with Eddie. I'm not, because he's definitely going to
Creepy.
try to grope me, which she says a million times. If you try to grope me, I'm going to slug you. If you try to say something sexist or dumb or racist, I'm going to grope you.
Homophobic, I'ma slug
I'm
you.
going to slug you. She
Which
said,
FYI was my favorite part of the movie when she
Yeah.
did that. I was like, okay,
And also,
girl, I see
I
you.
might just have to slug you from time to time because I find the thought of driving across the country with you incredibly stressful.
right.
I
and so
agree
I
with
guess-
you, though,
I guess-
Andre. I would have been like, no, I'm going back into my room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call my parents and be like, look,
Hey,
here's what
Jake
happened.
abandoned me. Hook it up.
The thing is,
Otherwise, I'm not coming home.
you can't think about this movie logically or it does not work.
It falls
like,
apart.
period. Falls apart. Because now he's in the desert. I'll have a blue, blue, blue Christmas. And just stranded, he finds a buzzard, follows that buzzard to a gas station, borrows the dudes at the gas station phones to call his family, tells his dad what happened, and of course his dad is like, that's crazy.
He tells his dad exactly what
Why
happened.
didn't he call the police? He should
But
have called the police.
He also told it in like the most blasé way, like, hey, yesterday I got jumped and stranded out in the desert. I'm wearing a Santa suit. There's a beard on me. It's glued. And I have no money and I have no way to get home. So that's what it is. And the dad's just like, you little liar.
Dude, if it had been me, I would have been like, I was at this party and I do not know how I ended up in the middle of the desert.
must
Yeah,
have
I
been
ain't got
attacked.
no money.
should've
I
called
ain't
the
got
police.
no water. I ain't got no food. I'm about to
Nothing.
die.
I am in panic mode. But Jake wasn't in panic mode.
Also, Jake's sister cracks me up.
Oh, it's cute.
She was in Xenon.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
She's like funny.
I think her name is Tracy in this movie.
Agreed, though. I would call the cops, too. Like, let's talk about all the things that just happened to me.
Okay, I know it was Ed, and then Brad the man, and then Tim the man, and all the men, and they all kidnapped me. I'd
man.
I'd like to press charges on them before they get home for Christmas. Thank you very much.
And
There's
when they
probably
come back to
fingerprints
school,
on this Santa suit. Test my body right now to see what drugs are in here.
that's
Like,
right.
but
Exactly. Bring out the kit.
he just got Porsche on the brain. He got to get home.
Yes. So he.
I got Porsche on the brain.
Porsche on the brain. So as he's making this phone call, an old woman overhears him, and she's like,
And Emily, this is where from here on out, the movie's like,
Yes,
yeah,
from here.
it's just ridiculous.
Oh my
The old
god.
woman.
Who was in the where they brainstorm movies? They were like, we're gonna find this
The writer's
old
room.
lady that's gonna feel bad for him and loves Tom Jones.
me and the Tom Tom girls were on our way to Vegas for a Tom Jones concert. We love Tom
And the
Jones.
best part was Luis was like, "Who's Tom Jones?" And then he's like, "You got some what's new, pussycat?"
He's like, "Do we got what's new,
pussycat?
What's new, pussycat?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Then did you know who Tom
You know
Jones
what?
was?
That song? I really think about it. I've never really heard it. I've only heard that part. I'm like, that's the weirdest song ever.
It is a weird song.
Like, did this guy just come up across like a alley cat and
Just
started
having
singing to him?
Tom
yeah.
Jones adventures.
But the
out in alley.
funniest thing to me is before this is how he cons his way into getting this old lady to drive him. He pretends he's crying and that his dad is just says this is an operation and I gotta get home for Christmas.
Tree, my lord.
Ridiculous. And this is where I learned how to lie.
Yeah, he makes him lie on the spot. Not that his real story isn't tragic enough. Like, I was jumped and mugged and somebody left me out here in a Santa suit.
I guess they wouldn't have felt as bad for him. I don't know.
Because it's not as believable, but I don't have my wallet. I don't have anything. But yeah, the old woman and her Tom Jones girls take him in. He sits in the back seat in between somebody who ain't got no teeth and somebody who's got a very expensive handbag. And
And it's hot in that car
It's
because they
hot in the
old.
car,
And I know exactly what he's like. It's too hot in
It's
here. I had a
stuffy,
rough night.
and it
Yeah, you
probably
had a rough night
smells.
because you've been drugged. You got to puke, dude.
yeah, he's not feeling well. So
Old
he's like,
lady
"Can we
smell."
please open the window?" And they're like, honey.
Do you think it's hell funny us old people can catch pneumonia?
Yeah, like, what? You're driving through the Las Vegas desert. You're all wearing T-shirts. And
Luis and I were cracking up at the way in which they drove across the country, like how he was,
yeah.
like his directions, like.
oh yeah,
So I was trying to think, like, if he's in Southern California, they drove straight out, like
Mhm,
straight
straight
east,
and
then
to
ended
Vegas.
up Vegas E area.
and then he, after this scene, he goes up to Nebraska, and then from there, I think he goes to Ohio, maybe, or something like that, and then up
I
to New
never
York.
thought about it that way.
When
but
he
yeah.
goes to Wisconsin at some point
That's
too.
right.
Luis is like, why is he going?
He's zigzagging his way to Christmas.
It was like the Goofy across the country.
However he could get there, man.
Seriously, like
I just want to know
awful.
how he ended up in
Terrible.
Nebraska though.
How did he get
coulda-
there
he
on
coulda took one
time?
of those interstates all the way on the south and go through Texas and then make his way up.
Right.
Dang.
It must be December 19th or something like that when he's leaving, because it takes a while to get home. So
So it goes from ladies.
yes,
Yeah, he
Right?
throws up in their handbag and they kick him
they
out.
kick him out.
And then he's like, well, I'm kicked out. I'm going to hitch a hike. But he looks across the street and there's a fruit stand and he sees his girlfriend and Eddie.
Allie and Eddie together.
This was actually very funny. I was like, what are the chances he sees them on the side of the road?
I know.
And
First off, he's too dazed. He's like going days. I would have like mapped out a clear path and booked it.
Right.
Like that's my only chance of either
And start
getting my
screaming.
girl or
Screaming.
getting home.
Like screaming. Ali, Eddie, you too, you idiot. Look at me. I'm in a bright red Santa suit, you dumb.
Like, just create absolute, like, create mayhem.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally just, like,
He's
walking.
like, I guess I better play the best game of Leapfrog I've ever played in my entire life.
my
and
God.
slowly make my way across the street.
And so Eddie sees him and is like, get in the car. And they get in the car and they do the most probably illegal, the most reckless driving
Yeah, they whip it.
up and around the interstate. And I think of like California highways like that too. That is so dangerous.
Oh, they're zooming. People
Oh, yeah,
are going
they zoom
90
in.
on those roads.
Oh
And
my
Allie
gosh.
knows something's up because she gets that voicemail on her phone that says Santa Desert Buzzard Tumbleweed. And freaking Eddie's like, I know this. We picked the one that doesn't belong. Santa. Or whatever. And so, they zoom off. And now he just, at this point, has to try to hitchhike. He just keeps walking for a long time. It's snowing in the desert because it does that. He finds some place to sleep in a Santa like ho 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 tubby in a sleigh.
There's
Yeah.
like a sleigh decoration up, and it has a big puffy fake Santa in it and a big blanket. So he pushes Santa out, hops in, sleeps under the blanket, and has a nice cozy sleep until the next morning when Santa suddenly is in his face going, oh, it's time to get up. And it's just
The
like
security
it's
guard.
like the maintenance guy or whatever.
He's
Like,
like,
dude,
"Get
get
outta
out of
here."
here. I set this all up all nice yesterday, and now you ruined it.
And then he's trying to hitchhike.
I like Hitchhawk.
Hitchhike on the freeway again, and this is where Nolan comes in, which is arguably one of the funniest characters in this movie.
Nolan is a wild character. He is so silly. So he's driving this big van. He's weaving in and out all over the road
He dropped his tomato
because he's eating a sandwich in his car.
Guinevere, pretty much.
Yeah.
He's eating a sandwich in his car. His tomato drops out. His eye line has left the road. He's down under the dash looking for
Swerving
the tomato,
everywhere.
swerving all over the place. Eventually, he basically runs over Jake because he's not looking.
And Jake is like booking it like
He sends Jake flying into a snowbank off the highway.
I went and killed Santa.
And it's so disgusting because when he sees the tomato, he's so like, yes, like he's gonna put it back in the sandwich. Like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, it was like straight face down.
On your dirty van floor.
Nah, this dude does not care.
But did you guys notice how quickly we went from like high mountain, like I guess like you're pretty much in desert, and all of a sudden you're in snow?
Right.
What the?
Yeah.
It snows in the desert.
Yeah. But that still to get from Jake where he was to where he got picked up,
It's
like 70 miles, dog.
Yeah, you
know?
gotta suspend some disbelief on
He's
this
just
one.
walking around in the sand.
Anyways, Nolan basically runs him over, and Jake like runs off the side of the road into the snow, but he's laying down. And my favorite is that Nolan like picks up his shoe and like flips it over, and snow falls out. And he's like, "Oh, thank God!" And Andre's like, "Did he think a foot was gonna
He
fall
thought a
out?"
foot was
I
gonna be
kind of
in
thought
there.
a foot was gonna
For
fall
sure.
out. I won't even
He
lie.
was waiting for a bloody foot to fall from the shoe.
Sir, I've never been so happy to be asked that question in my life. Yes, you are alive.
You've been asked that question a lot. Yeah, at least 13 to 14
he says
times.
like 10, 12 times. Yeah.
You pointed that out, huh?
Yeah.
Times does this guy have to like?
He's run so
run
many
some-
people over. Yes, you are
Yes,
alive.
you're alive.
Ridiculous.
So because he owes Jake like a
Unlucky.
life debt, he gives him a ride. They start rolling through. Nolan is driving, and
It's the best because he has the sandwich in one hand and the tomato in the other, and there's like a bite taken out of the tomato and the sandwich.
takes one bite out of the sandwich and then another bite out of the tomato instead of just
funny.
putting the tomato back in there.
So
He was
funny.
giving him too much trouble the first time. He's
I'm
got
telling you, there's
This is the
so much
solution.
drugs happening in this movie.
Well, also, I think Jake is like, we've been having this conversation for 2 hours where you're like, that was crazy. You're alive. And I'm like, yeah, that was crazy. And I'm like, he's still eating his sandwich 2 hours later?
Dude, I'm pretty sure
holding
he's.
that sandwich.
I'm pretty sure he's talking to the sandwich, not to Jake. Like, man, you lied.
so sorry I did that to your sandwich.
So,
I didn't mean to
so
drop your tomato.
at this point, they see in a couple cars
I
next
love
to them
tomatoes
that
in my sandwich.
Allie and Eddie are in that car. And then well, I think it cuts to Allie and Eddie, and they're having a conversation, and Eddie asks her, like, what's so great about Jake? And she's like, oh, he recites me poetry and all this stuff. And he's so funny. If it's poetry you want, it's poetry I got, baby. And he's like, not even the corn has such big ears. And she's like, great.
Because she had quoted like an E. Cummings quote before.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Before that.
So,
it was very silly.
And I'm like, wow, you just called her ears donkey size.
Did you last week on the episode, remember when I was going, oh, yippee, oh, yippee, it was because of the song they were listening to in the car, and she was doing it.
What?
You don't remember it?
I don't remember you doing that on the episode.
Rita Jones, wake up now. Okay, whatever.
This is a song that's playing in Eddie and Allie's car.
I
as they're
do know
driving
what you're
across
talking
the
about
desert.
in that regard, but I do not remember you doing it
I
last
don't remember
week.
you doing it last week.
Oh, I did, and you guys were like, what? Anyways, they see that they're in the car, like a couple cars ahead of them, and so Nolan's like, you trying to tell me that's Mrs. Claus walking out on Santa?
She let somebody else into her chimney.
Yeah, no. He says it like this. Somebody else down the chimney. He gotta say chimney.
Chimney.
Why that two-timing hoe?
Calls Allie a two-time O, which
I literally looked at Luis and was like, wow, we went there. Two-time and hoe.
I appreciated it. And
PG, I work it.
So he starts speeding up, and because he's going so fast, a cop starts to pull them over.
Oh my God.
Turns out Nolan, he has some goods in the back of the van that may or may not be legal.
Better to go
stolen.
out in a blaze of glory than to rot in a correctional state facility.
Oh my God, that made me
Nolan,
die.
what has your life been like
He
before
sounded
this?
like a Marine there.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He sounded like a military man the way he said facility.
Facility. For sure. So the cop pulls him over.
Which is hilarious because if listeners you didn't know, Andre works at a state
I do
Out-of-state
work at a
facility.
state correctional facility.
correctional facility.
And I don't want to die there either. I'm not even behind bars.
What does he have in his freaking truck that's gonna make him die there?
Well,
A lot.
Maybe just the sheer
KitchenAid
amount.
mixer?
Yeah.
Look at Luis.
The sheer amount of kitchen appliances, it adds up to a hard felony. So they get pulled over. They swap seats.
Death penalty felony.
Jake says that he's a Santa and Nolan is his elf. I'm an elf, and they're on their
I'm an
way.
elf.
They're on their way to the next town over to deliver some gifts to children at the children's hospital. And the cop starts going, "Oh, the children at this children's hospital, Redcliffe," and they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, that's so nice. You know what? I guess I'll let you go. And my shift ends in a couple minutes. I'll escort you there." And they're like, "Okay, sounds great. You'll get there in no time." They drive. They follow the cop. They get there. They park. And Jake goes, "Don't get out of the car. Don't get out of the car. Don't get out of the car." And the cop gets out, and he starts talking to them, and he walks away. He's like, "I'm going to come inside with you." And Nolan goes, "I don't think he heard you when you said don't get out of the car."
This is very little kid humor, but I just love it. It's so silly.
So they have to go inside the children's hospital and
give away all of
give
the
away
stolen goods.
all the stolen goods. Turns out all the stolen goods are kitchen appliances.
No,
And
there was
Nolan
a vacuum.
is not happy about it.
And all the children in the
No.
children's hospital are like 4.
But they're taking it. They're like, cool, thanks, Santa.
Sweet, I always wanted a 4-slotted toaster.
I was waiting for like the Cutco knives to come
Yeah.
out.
Everything, the blenders, all the dangerous stuff.
Except for the last kid didn't want it.
the last kid, he says, "No, thank you." And they're like, "Well, what
Esteban.
do you want for Christmas, Esteban?" And he's like, "I want to go to Christmas with mi hermano and mi hermana." And he's just like
Mi papa,
the saddest,
Tio Maria,
the saddest Mexican accent I've ever
grandmothers
heard.
and grandfathers,
And grandfathers.
and his perrito. It is really sad.
My dog Zapito.
Zorrito.
Zorrito.
Did you call him burrito?
No, I said Zorrito.
Oh.
I knew it was a Z.
I was
Zorrito.
kind of offended.
During that
Why?
scene.
Yeah, why do you have to give him an accent?
They
I
gave
don't
him-
think that was it. I think that's how he sounded.
He
I
was just a
mean-
little Hispanic kid. Is that a
Oh.
problem?
Yeah.
He
Don't gotta
can't
sound
be a
like
little
that.
Hispanic kid.
They don't gotta sound like that.
I feel you, Lou, because if this was a
Okay.
little black kid and he was like, "I just want to go home. I'm trying to see my mama and my daddy and my sister
What?
and my grandmama." I was like, okay, he's kind of laying it on pretty thick here.
Like they did. You
That
need
was
to
the
have
only
an accent.
Hispanic person in the movie, and they had to have like that.
Mi
Way too
tíos
much
y mi
for sure.
tías.
Stop.
And you know what?
So you don't want them to talk about collard greens?
I miss the collard greens.
And then also, why does he gotta name the whole family?
He named
Not all
everybody,
Hispanics
dude.
have a large family like that.
You just missed him. That's all. It was just a cute little boy, and you had to turn it into that.
So,
Louis.
so his little.
It was funny, Luis. I agree with you.
his tiny little accented
I didn't
speech.
say it was funny.
I'm saying it's funny for that. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's funny.
His tiny little speech leads all three of these men, the Nolan, Jake,
In
and the
tears.
cop. They have to go call their families
On the
and-
payphones.
and cry on the payphone right next to each other. Nolan goes, he's standing right next to the sheriff. He's like, I swear it wasn't worth stealing all them stolen goods. I'm gonna come
He's
home.
like, oh, Sugar Plum, I don't want to offend stolen goods no more.
And it bleeds perfectly into
The cop.
Yeah, the cop. He
cop's like, Marjorie. Come home, Marjorie.
Oh, Marjorie.
and then
And
Jake.
then Jake talks to his stepmom and asks for the dad, but he's not there.
Right, she's here, just me, just Carolyn.
Yeah, so basically it's unfortunate because now Nolan wants to go home and not fend stolen goods anymore. So he doesn't have a ride,
Right.
back east now because he's going back the other way. But the cop is like, you know what?
That's why he goes to Nebraska.
Yes. 'cause
Also,
the cop
you
asked
know
him
what?
asked him for help.
The cop is also very funny.
Yes.
Like this whole next scene is pretty funny too.
He's ridiculous.
I was not expecting him to be funny, so I think
No.
that's why it's extra funny.
It was pretty good
Because
huh?
up until this point, he played a very straight character.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
very
Just like a fine cop. He let them go and he came with them. He wanted to see the smiles on the kids' faces or whatever. And now he's up in here going like, my ex-wife Marjorie, she left me.
not
'cause
ex-wife.
My wife Marjorie,
yeah,
she left
me a month
because
ago because I was mooching on some other
I
girl.
was smooching with my ex or whatever. And Jake's like, oh, okay, I guess
And
I
he's
can
like,
help
if
with
you
that.
just apologize to Santa, I know she'll come home. And he's like, sounds like you got relationship issues. Oh, no, I think he says something like, where's your pride, man? She left you and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, I don't want to drive 6 hours to Nebraska. And he's like, you love it, but you won't drive to Nebraska? Who are you?
Dude's
So,
a little weasel.
he is a weasel.
He's
dude.
gotta
Yes.
be like the leader of those weasels that freaking convinced Mr. Toe to sell Toad Hall.
Yes.
Mhm.
He is a weasel.
JTT and the Weasels.
Yeah, one of these
Getting
little
himself
weaselly
in
lies.
trouble 24/7. So they go.
But also getting himself right back out of it
Right.
somehow.
He gets in, he gets out, is mostly unscathed except for a stinky
And he
Santa
shake-
suit.
It's really funny, and then so they go drive to Nebraska 6 hours, and he's like, all right, it's where my wife works, and it's like a
Moo Moo Diner or
restaurant.
whatever.
Yeah, some kind of moo diner. There's like
I'm
cows
sorry,
in
I
the
love
restaurant.
it so much.
It's turf and turf
It's called Turf and Turf.
Turf and turf.
because
Turf and
they're
turf.
landlocked.
Yeah,
what
that's-
Emily pointed
No
out.
surf and
Dang,
turf.
no surf.
That got you? That
It's
one?
just-
Oh, I was
turf.
dying.
That's
I
very
was like,
funny.
it's freaking called Turf and Turf. And he's like, why is that funny? Is it all seafood? I'm like, no.
There's
The
no
turf is the
seafood.
steak. So it's like steak
No
and steak
surf and
because
turf.
they're landlocked.
Yeah.
And there's cows like literally in the restaurant.
Right. And Marjorie is wearing ears
The
because she's
ears?
a waitress.
The
I
Cow
liked.
ears.
I thought Marjorie was so cute.
The ears got me. Yes, no,
She's
Marjorie
really
was cute.
She is. So Jake goes in there and he's talking to Marjorie and he's like, "Hey, so yeah, the cop outside, he really wants to apologize. He said he's sorry and he didn't really mean to kiss that
And
girl."
she's like,
And
"Oh, listen, he kissed." She's like, "He kissed her in front of everybody at Smitty's," and he was like, "Oh, maybe it was like a friendly kiss," and she was like, "There was tongue." She's not messing around. I really like Marjorie. Yeah.
I can't remember what the next line was, but it was something he was trying to help him still, like maybe it was blah blah blah, and the cop is like, it was the Jägermeister.
Oh yeah.
he's yelling through the window because he refused to go inside to
Yes.
actually speak with her.
No, because he knows that she's gonna mess him up, right?
Also, she's still waiting tables, so they're going to different tables as this conversation is happening. At one point, they're talking about the girl that he must have smooched or whatever, and the dude at the table is like, "She must have been a babe. She
Oh
must have
yeah.
been a total babe."
No, that's not what they're talking about, babe. He's saying like, maybe it was just a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, like this one couple I know.
Oh,
And he's
that's
talking
right.
about him and Allie, right?
Mhm.
And then, or he's talking about like him, and then he remarried 10 months later. And she's like, well, what'd the stepmom do? It's not her fault. And that's why the dad was like, yeah, she's a babe. He like remarried 10 months. Yeah, because she's a babe.
She's a hot babe.
And then the wife is like, "Stop it." Funny. Anyways, she's basically like, no, I'm not coming home.
It was
So
the Jägermeister.
He goes outside and tells the cop, like, she ain't coming. What are we going to do? And he's like, come on, you got to help me. And then there's like this banjo crew comes in, like they're driving up to, get some grub. And Jake, of course, is like, I got an idea. We're going to sing her.
They hire the violas. They all go in. They start playing the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree."
Marjorie. Oh, Marjorie.
And Jake
This song, though.
Jake is
I
writing
need
the
to
lyrics to
have
the
you.
song
Oh.
and handing the notes over to him as he's singing it. And he's
I'm
singing
sorry, I
just like Michelle.
was such an inconsiderate jerk that night. I hope that singing this song will make everything all right. And then the cow goes, oh, Marjorie. Oh, baby.
And this is where he
oh,
starts
baby,
going completely
oh,
off script.
baby.
Freaking rogue, man.
I'll make it up to you on the velvet skirt of the Christmas tree.
It's like,
And
oh
at
my
this
God.
point, she's like crying. I'm like, now you're crying? Now this is nice for you?
This is what's romance is for Marjorie.
You know what?
She's like,
Now
All the
on your
patrons are like,
knees.
woo!
she's like, oh, man.
Now on your knees.
That's right. No, on your knees, stupid. He's so dumb.
They make up, though,
but
after
they,
that.
They make up. They make out.
That song wouldn't have done it for me. I would have been like, you look like an idiot. Stupid idiot.
I don't get to sing in front of the whole turf and turf. in
Yeah,
front of
you would have sounded better, but he didn't sound
Talk
good.
about on the skirt of the velvet Christmas tree.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I
You're
don't know.
those peepers off of
How long
me.
we been doing this podcast for? It's not
Whoa.
ended. Oh, baby.
Turf and turf.
So
Oh, we're ridiculous today, guys.
they truly
It's the Oreos,
Turf
man.
and turf.
they truly make up.
Now that you pointed that out, it's very funny to
It's
me.
very funny. I really like turf and turf. So they make
I
up.
mean, I would be happy to eat there. I won't
Yeah, it
lie.
looks like a fun restaurant, honestly.
we cut over to Allie and Eddie because they are like a B plot of this whole movie.
every
they're-
now
which
and
I was
then
not expecting.
They
Right.
cut to them kind of talking in the car, like getting to know each other better.
yeah, their road trip travels.
You know,
And she's just like, "Why are you so dumb?" He's like,
Basically.
"Maybe I'm not that dumb. Maybe I'm just like kind of
you
dumb."
know. My favorite part is she's like, you know what I think of sometimes? That out of all of the intelligent spawn of the universe, we ended up here. And he's like, yeah. You know what I think about sometimes? How come when they cook you breakfast at the restaurant, they just don't serve it right in the skillet? Like you got your eggs,
Like
your
Denny's.
bacon, and that's great. And also, what if some dude comes up to you and is like, oh, I'm the Messiah, give me some money. And you don't give him some money, but then you think, maybe he is the Messiah, and I just blew the dude off.
And she's like, "Okay, yeah, maybe not intelligent life on Earth." then,
Yeah,
huh?
so they're like bonding, but in like a very weird way.
A very
That
odd
whole
way.
Messiah part very much confused me. I was like, where is he going with this? Is this Beauty and the Beast? Or what is this?
No, he's
like,
literally just an idiot.
But that was the end of the thought.
okay.
Just blew him off, you know.
okay.
So they're making their way across the country as well. They're staying in a
Because
couple.
that's not how Christmas happened, sir. I'm a little confused.
They've stopped to stay at a couple different hotels at this point, and now as they're driving, Allie sees a sign for the Bavarian Village, and she's like, "Oh, we have to go there. I've seen commercials
Okay,
for
but
it," or
also
whatever.
literally there's always a Bavarian or some kind of Swedish village in the middle of nowhere somewhere. Like, that is so true.
Kingsburg.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like the one near us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're going down the 99, you see Kingsburg, and it's like, stop here. And I've literally never stopped there.
I've never
Oh.
saw
Don't make that face, Andre. You know what I'm talking about. It's past
No, that's a
Fresno.
lie. We did stop there, baby.
I
We stopped
believe
there
you.
and we went into a McDonald's. I think maybe because we had to change Eddie.
I'm going to say that we didn't go into the Swiss village.
Oh.
McDonald's doesn't count.
No, Lita
No, but the whole like block and everything was very Bavarian like.
Yeah.
I've never encountered one of these.
Anyways,
places.
she wants to go to Edelweiss because why not?
It's not
You
called
want-
Edelweiss.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Edelweiss.
Oh, at Edelbrook.
Yes.
Edelbrook. I said Edelweiss because the song.
You've never seen that movie, though.
No, I have not, but I know
But
the song.
you've heard the song, I'm sure.
So he's like, fine, we'll stay there, right? So at this point, Jake
And it's only because he's thinking he's going to get some prospects.
Right,
Oh, for
yeah.
sure. For sure. So Jake, they buy him a bus ticket, like as a thank you for getting them back together or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like waiting at the bus station, and he sees on the TV that these two are at Edelbrook under the mistletoe.
They're having an event at the Bavarian Village, so they're
Yeah.
interviewing people, and they're like, "Oh, these two are underneath the mistletoe. I wonder if they're gonna make out," and they do, and they're making out pretty hard. I mean,
They
it's not-
definitely made out.
This is not like a peck from somebody that you really don't want to be traveling with. It's like hey, this tension.
Well,
has been
because
building
he's
up for a
kind of
while
being witty
kinda
at this
kiss.
point. I think there's like the human clock people like chasing each other, and he's like, "Don't witness it. You might have to testify." And she's like, "Oh, you're
Oh, that was smart. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yes,
And then they get to the honeymoon suite.
I was
Right.
like,
That's-
wow, that's really
that was
awkward.
like the only room left, so it's the honeymoon suite, and I really like that.
And they're 18.
Yes, but I do like that. Allie gets into bed like normal, but she makes Eddie sleep on top of the covers in a sleeping bag with his jacket
A
on
bunch of clothes.
and mittens.
Like oven mittens.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
you have to work hard if you're gonna want to grope up on me.
So
sir.
of course he's on the bus now because he had the bus ticket, right?
Jake.
And he wants to go to Edelbrook to get Allie. And I think all of this part, this is the scene, like, as an adult, where I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, it's funny, but it's unbelievable. For sure.
So he sees the exit for the Bavarian Village. He goes to the bus driver and he's like, "Hey, can we stop? can we pull over right over here?"
Get behind the yellow line.
And yeah, the bus driver's not having any of it. He confirms, "No, we're not doing that."
I want to
Jake-
know who the bus driver was because that was hilarious. That guy was funny.
I feel like I've
He
seen
was-
him in something,
Me
but it
too.
might just be this. I don't know.
Oh.
But he looks familiar, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought so.
He did look familiar. He kind of looks like
He was funny.
like Tom Kenny, who plays SpongeBob. I don't know if any of you know what that guy looks like.
I
but
do
he-
not.
Okay.
But he
Taxi
was funny.
driver.
Pull on the yellow line.
I thought he was funny, too.
The funniest part for me was that Louise got up to go do something at this point. So he saw all of the moments leading up to what happens.
Mhm.
But not the actual liver thing.
Yeah, like he saw the guy eating the sandwich, but then like he sits
Literally
down,
raw meat.
and he was
Literally.
like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Well, the guy's sandwich somehow made it into the
ice
the
box.
ice chest, and now he's writing on it. I think they're doing
In
like
crayon.
liver transplant or
Organ
something.
donation.
Organ
We got a live
donation.
liver here.
Yeah, organ donation for Allie.
Because that's how we,
That's how-
transport goods.
And also, it's on a bus, like a transport bus, like not an ambulance. and no one is claiming that this organ is theirs. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm coming with it.
We absolutely do not have to deliver this. No one here put this here. What are you talking about? So anyway, Jake somehow manages to convince the entire bus that this is the right thing to do. There's like an army general on
That
the bus.
guy
something
made
like
me
that.
laugh so hard.
He gets in the bus driver's face like, "What is wrong with you, man? Can't you see there's a tiny organ for a little girl? We gotta deliver this." And it's like, okay. So they drive him to the Bavarian
He
Village.
was definitely like pulling rank on him, which was very funny.
Yeah. Jake gets off the bus with the liver. This dude's poor sandwich. I wonder what happened to that guy. Wasn't he should have been like, "Where's my sandwich?"
I know,
going?"
like, didn't he say something about a sandwich?
How did
I
he
thought that was weird.
pickpocket that? He gets off. They all applaud him as he gets off the bus. "You go, Jay. You do it." And he runs to where Eddie and Allie are. He goes to their room. How does he find out where they are? Does he stop at the front desk or anything?
He goes to the front desk and he pretty much threatens the poor lady behind the desk.
That's right.
And she's like, "No, I can't tell you."
he like grabs her by the
By
lanyard.
like the lanyard, and then he gets like
ejected.
escorted out by Lederhosen.
Yeah, later Hosen goes.
This
is where Michelle starts yodeling.
But I don't remember, how does he find them, Michelle?
He goes in the hallways where the cleaning lady is, and he takes one of the cleaning ladies
Oh,
in the
yeah.
room. He takes
That's
the
right.
clipboard and finds their names on it.
Yeah, all the room tenants.
very smart.
are
He
written
is very
on-
smart.
on there.
For sure.
So he goes in. He finds where they are. He opens the door. Allie's in there. He starts going off on her. He's like,
You're here with Eddie. He's in here somewhere. Where is he? I'm gonna kill him.
And Eddie comes out of the bathroom in a towel, and he's like, I've been in here with a girl. And she's like, nothing happened. And he's like, well, something happened.
And
All right.
Jake gets very mad at this. He pulls off Eddie's towel, which I don't know if that's necessarily doing him any favors.
I know. I was like, if anything, she just saw his penis. Like,
I don't know if that's exactly what you
is
wanted.
that what you were going for? Because
Because now they're a step farther in
Right.
their
Now
relationship.
there's
I don't know.
more-
That's what kind of makes me think maybe it is high school. Like,
That's
maybe.
a pretty immature thing to do.
Yeah.
If anything, I would have been like,
Wow.
So
You know what she said, listeners. You know what she said.
so they're arguing, and then they get into like a real argument where
no, they make up. So they are arguing, and he's like, I just couldn't get to you, Allie. Like, I didn't have my phone. I didn't have anything. I was stranded. All the while, he's still not blaming Eddie. Like, oh, Eddie freaking put me in the
Yeah.
desert. Because I would have been. I would have been like, this fool put me in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Like, did he not make the
No.
connection that those were the last people he saw,
That
and
he
that's
saw
why he
before
was
he
out
was
there?
no,
knocked
not
out?
really. So it's funny. So they kind of make up. And then Eddie comes out and is like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and because of you, I'm not going to be home at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. And Allie is like, why do you have to be home at 6 p.m.? Like, it seems like
Yeah.
suspicious to her because she's
Mhm.
known him forever, probably. So she's like, why is
Yeah.
it 6 p.m.? And he's like, I don't know. And it's like, in this moment, you don't know how to lie, fool.
Like, you just lied your way across the
Right.
country and you can't figure out something right now?
All of a sudden, you don't know how to lie,
this
right?
one seems easy.
So she like
I would have been
rips-
like, my dad has surgery
that's
and
what
I
time
was
dinner
going
is.
to be there.
she like rips his glued hat off, and he's like, ah, and she's like, if you have one decent bone in your body, you will not lie to me now, Jake. And he tells her about the Porsche, and she is like, we are
It's like,
done.
wow, I can't believe
Like
you.
we're done, right? So she takes his seat on the bus, calls him a genuine butthole, and goes on her way.
This is the butthole line, which I liked a lot. It was quite funny.
It was kind of funny, and it's also funny seeing Jessica Biel like pretty young and like
Very
playing
young
this
in
kind of
this.
character, because all I can think is like, that's JT's husband right there, not JT, but JT.
JT's wife.
Wife.
Oh, JT's wife. Yeah.
Justin Timberlake is married to Jessica Biel
Yeah, that is true.
in real life, right
In real
now.
life, right now. Yes.
Um,
But she's so young here.
and he's on the soundtrack for this movie.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Later on, the Merry Christmas. I was like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
on the
let's
credits?
do it, dan,
Yeah.
dan. I was so happy.
I know.
Because I heard the music, the dan, 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 dan.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
and happy holiday.
Jay-Z.
What the?
Oh my goodness, we are off the rails on this episode, you
You
guys.
fed me too much sugar.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry for that.
It was them
vulgar.
ding dang Twinkies and them ding dang ding dongs.
Anyways, now all of a sudden Jake and Eddie are friends, and they get in the car together.
they-
Very funny.
I'm on the roll.
They-
the one I love.
They
is
really
gone.
bonded over Allie leaving
Breakup.
them both.
He's like, oh man, I've seen a lot of breakups. Nothing like that. That was gnarly. How do girls do that?
So they're driving across the country, and they're really bonding, and it seems like they're being very friendly. And then at a certain point, I'm not sure what Jake says, but Eddie goes.
He
like,
says
"Wait."
like, he's like, you know, this is really nice of you. You're gonna drive me across the country. I'm gonna get the Porsche. And I'm gonna figure out how to get Allie back, and everything's gonna be fine. And Eddie is like, and then he pulls over. He's like, get out the car. And Jake is like, what? And he's like, that's just too many nice things for me in one day.
You're gonna get a
not
Porsche and
very
be cooler
Eddie.
than me? I don't think so. So he kicks him out. And
It's like, don't start boasting now, you dumb. Sorry.
Jake is stupid. Like, he does that. Anyways, he gets kicked out of the car. And then he, like, I don't know why this part is really funny. Oh, we skipped this scene, actually. It was a while ago. But do you remember when he went in the bathroom and he was like, I'm just going to embrace this. And he puts the Santa hat and the beard on, and the little kid comes out.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, kid, how does this sound? Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Okay, I remember you doing this a couple weeks ago.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. That scene gets me every time, too. But we
Because
skipped
that
that
was
one.
the weirdest scene in the movie. I
was-
did not think it was
it was
funny.
quite
I
odd.
didn't think it was funny.
No, I did not think it was
'Cause,
funny
like,
It's really
at all.
funny to me.
It would have been because this
There was no context.
this happened.
He was just in the bathroom.
Bef-
Don't you do weird things in the
bef-
bathroom?
This happened before he was even on his way to the Bavarian village.
Yeah,
or
it
whatever,
did.
right? I
He was
think
just going to the bathroom.
this
It was in
scene-
the bus station bathroom.
This scene would have been placed like it should have been placed right before he did the Santa race. Like,
Yeah.
like
And maybe that's why I didn't think of it till now.
he should have embraced becoming a Santa when he actually had to be a Santa.
Yeah.
He hasn't had to be Santa this entire movie. I don't know why he's practicing his ho-ho-hos. What is he doing?
I don't know. He's just being a weirdo. So
I thought that was a very weird scene.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh.
hilarious because the little kid was really funny. Well, whatever.
He's like,
Whatever.
do that third one if you want to scare people away.
And watch them cry.
Yeah. So he gets stranded by Eddie in this town. He starts walking through, and he starts seeing Santas everywhere. There's a Santa
Running.
over here, a Santa over there. They're carbo loading. They're doing it all.
This is where I got the idea of carbo loading from, because before every gymnastics meet, my mom would make a spaghetti or mac and cheese the night before, and she was like, you have to carbo load before your meet. And I'm
Right.
like, this is where we got it from. I'm telling you, this movie has a lot of my childhood in it.
Yeah.
So he investigates what's going on, and apparently there's a $1,000 prize for the winner
Like
of
a 5K.
of the 5K Santa race in this town.
Which I feel like there are a lot of like winter 5Ks, but the thing that's so funny about this one is that they're all dressed as Santa.
Yep.
I
And
thought it
you
was like a Santa con.
have
Honestly.
to
Yes.
cross the finish line with your hat and beard, or else you're disqualified. Like, it's part of the race. Like, you
It's-
have to be
you have to
in
be Santa.
Santa gear. So there's all these Santas everywhere. He's trying to con his way into the race. He's like, I don't have no money
Well,
because my house
Also,
burned
he
down.
thinks he has pretty good chances because every Santa here is middle-aged and quite rotund. And
Yeah, but some of them were wearing like pillows, because remember in the race, like one of the pillows. fell
Sure, but he still thinks that he's faster than them. He's like, I can win $1,000.
Except for the
right here,
Kenyan.
for sure. Except for the Kenyan, who
That
goes,
was
he
so
runs by. Somebody
bizarre.
goes like, "Are you Kenyan?" He's like, "Yes," and then keeps going. It's like, okay.
Because he's in like a tight Santa suit with a helmet.
A tight velvet Santa suit with a red helmet and a white beard.
Okay, well,
Homie
I
is
thought
ready
that
to
was.
run.
I thought that was more offensive than. The,
I thought so too.
Than the
Than the
little
little
In the
boy.
Hispanic
kid, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Why? Just because he's black
Because
and
he's
he
black
can run?
and he's running.
Kenyan.
no. It's not because he's black. I mean, in the track world, Kenyans are the best.
I know.
Or
It's a
some
stereotype,
Of the best.
though.
Yeah. Well, more because of the country than anything. It's like, you see someone doing gymnastics, you're like, and they're Caucasian, you're like, oh man.
But he
they're
could have
probably
been
from
a
Russia.
he could have been a black dude from America.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
this
No, but the
isn't.
context is that it's a marathon.
Well,
it's a running event.
It's a
so-
5K in a small town. It's not like the Olympics. It's
Midwest.
just the
Kenyan.
only it's the only black Santa in this whole mix, and they're just like, "There's the Kenyan." I see him
Well,
running.
honestly,
He's in his
it could
Kenyan
have been
outfit.
a lot worse than that. You
That's
know?
true.
Yeah, I guess
That's
so.
They,
true.
they based it really off
Runaway
of like
slave?
the sport
Yes.
Andre,
Oh my
Wow.
can't say that.
What's wrong?
My gosh,
This is
a little too far.
This is the two things you can be as a black
You're right,
runner.
Louise. It could have been worse.
So,
But this whole race,
Sorry, I'm not saying it was very leading for sure.
yes,
definitely.
it was a leading question.
But for Luis, it wasn't offensive. Like
The
the little
Esteban.
Hispanic kid, like Esteban.
No, because like as soon as he said he's Kenyan, I'm like, oh, he's making a running,
I mean, I liked-
endurance running reference.
I like that he was.
Luis
like,
took
that
it
was
as a
his
sport
reply.
reference and not as a race reference.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
Anywho.
Luis is not wrong. Kenyans are very fast in running. I'm just gonna be quiet.
Kenyans are very fast.
I mean, they could be very fast in writing. You never know.
Right?
I don't
Or
know.
typing.
The bikeathon.
They might be
So,
and other things like the Flash.
like the Flash. Yeah.
the Flash. Kenyan Flash.
Flash.
So
$100 dash.
Jake tries to sign up for
DoorDash.
Jake tries to
Flash
sign
with
up
the
for
DoorDash.
this Santa
Gang.
race,
Sorry.
and goodness, Jake tries to sign up for this Santa race. It costs $10 to enter, and he does not have $10. He doesn't have a wallet. He does not have any money.
Oh no.
So he's trying to con his way in. He's like, "Oh, I mailed my money in. We should have sent you a receipt." He's like, "I lost the receipt, so I don't have the
There was a
receipt."
fire and we lost
So
everything.
this very prominent
Little pictures and
this very prominent Santa comes up to them, and he's like, "Hey, don't worry about the kid. I got it. I got your entry fee. I got you $10. Here you go." And he pays for him. And he's like, "Oh wow, that's cool." And then he starts kind of being buddy with this guy for a hot second. He's like, "What do you think of our chances?" He's like, "Oh, there's these guys, and then the Kenyan, and then there's us. So I guess we got pretty
Pretty
good
good.
chance." So the race begins.
Hold on. Pause. At this point, Andre, not Michelle, Andre, did you think that this guy was Chevy Chase, or was it just me and Louise?
He totally looked
Dude, I
familiar
thought it
to
was Chevy
me.
Chase.
I couldn't place him like
Like
I
the
wasn't-
mayor?
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mayor. I wasn't thinking of a name. I wasn't thinking of Chevy Chase, but he looked like he was definitely famous, and I definitely knew who he was. And I looked him up. I had no idea who this dude
Well,
was.
when you see him later,
Right.
I was like, oh,
Oh,
that
that's-
ain't who I thought
that's
that
him?
was. Like, I
now that
totally
you
thought he
say
was
Chevy
though.
Chase, I can see it. But I mean, I knew it wasn't because
Sure.
I've seen this a million times. But now that you say it, I see it, but only as the Santa.
Sure.
Yeah,
Not
Right.
not
not like when
afterwards.
you see him later.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, when he's in the Santa
I was
suit.
like, oh, that's the same guy. That's confusing.
Oh, that makes me miss Community.
like it's just so.
Oh, cut me on the
It's just so interesting because he's so prominent and he has a ton of lines. So and he's in a Santa suit. So he's kind of disguised. So it's kind of a perfect fit for a cameo of some
Yeah.
kind. And
They should have done Chevy Chase. That would have been funny.
right? Maybe they couldn't afford him or whatever.
That
Yeah.
would
That would have been funny for a Christmas movie,
That
though.
would have been like homage to National Lampoon's.
Right. Christmas Vacation.
I need to watch that movie. I've never seen it.
It's funny. But yeah, it totally wasn't. It was just a weird misdirect that all of our minds brought us to.
Yeah.
Oops.
So he's running through the race, and Santa antics are galore. You know, Santas
Dude,
are
this
falling
scene
over.
is so funny. They're like falling over. My favorite is instead of giving them water on the side of the road, they're like milk and cookies. Milk and
and
cookies.
like 30 Santas stop. Like,
Santa,
whoa, cookies,
Santa.
whoa. I
God.
said during this race, I was like, for $10, they're getting a fair amount of sweets. This isn't a bad deal. you
Andre
know?
was like, I'd do
gotta
it.
pretend
Those
to run.
They're gonna yak like 50
Oh.
meters after they eat though.
So
Dude, don't have me and Michelle run right now. We yak too. We had a lot of
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah, we did. I'm not mad about it though.
Twinkies and Oreos.
Cupcake.
So they're rounding
Hashtag always.
the last corner of the race. The Kenyan is right ahead of them. He's moving, he's grooving, and then he kind of just wanders
Crashes.
off and crashes into a Santa side.
I
That
think
was
he's looking
confusing.
back at them or like jogging backwards or something.
Yeah,
He
and
got
then he
distracted.
crashes.
Okay, he got distracted. He crashes. He's out of the race. He's done.
And
It's
then
over.
at this point,
His
it would
career's
be
over.
a perfect moment for that. Do 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 do.
Almost.
do. But it doesn't happen right there.
So Jake and Mr. Prominent Santa, they're running pell-mell towards the finish line.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Jake's hat falls off.
Pale-mell?
Pell-mell? Is that a phrase?
What?
Let's move fast.
Helter
I don't have
Skelter.
time.
Pale mail.
Jake's hat falls off, and he realizes
Oh,
he
no.
needs the hat to finish the race.
I just remembered too that lady in her lawn chair just falls over. So random.
Why was she falling over?
I don't know.
Oh.
She was cheering too hard.
Whoa, Santa!
You've never been in a 5K and
There
cheered
was-
so hard that you fell over.
There was the nuns, and one of the nuns was like, and the priest was
It,
like,
it said
yo.
something like Jesus loves Santa,
Jesus
and
loves
I was just
Santa.
like, stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
The priest was like, calm down.
Jake picks up his hat, and the prominent Santa, he's kind of stopped to look back at him, and then they both start running. They're gunning. They're
And
going.
he totally should have won, but he was like being.
Jake was seeing the Porsche in his head, and like
Yeah.
him and Allie, so he was like, I gotta get this Porsche right.
had
So he
Porsche
was
motivation.
booking it.
the Porsche Force.
And he won the ground.
And
won the
he
$1,000
Porsche
won
Force.
the Porsche Force. He won the race. He wins the money. They give it to him in a little envelope. He orders
goes
a
in
taxi.
a taxi.
He's like,
He's like,
peace out.
Playing with his money.
300, 400, 500. He's counting it, rubbing it in this
Right in
poor
front of the taxi
driver's
driver's face.
And the taxi driver's like, that's funny. Mayor Wilson normally wins this race. And he's like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, we're all kind of sad that he didn't win the race this year because most of the time he gives all his money to charity. And so
To buy turkeys for people who can't afford it on Christmas.
So good for you, but we're really pissed that you stole all this money from our town and the mayor. And Jake is just like, oh no. So he has to order the taxi to turn around, go back to the mayor's house, and he very selflessly gives up all $1,000.
And I made the comment that he didn't have to give the mayor the full 1,000.
He could have given him like
kept
900.
a little bit for his plane ticket and given him the rest. I'm
Yeah.
like, this idiot.
Yeah.
Like that would have
Dumb,
still
dumb.
been selfless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But he
At least give him like his $10 back
Right,
plus
yeah.
like
Yeah. And enough for you to buy a plane
Yeah.
ticket.
exactly. That's what he should have
I
done.
mean,
But
plane ticket's irrelevant because he has no ID, but we don't find that out
Yeah.
till later.
he gives it all up. And then he has to call Tracy for help, his sister. He calls her, and she's like, wait, so you really not going to make it home? are you sure? Are you positive? And he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
There ain't no way, girl.
There's no way. She's like, okay, well, I have a bunch of birthday money saved up. I'm gonna buy you a plane ticket. And he's like, what? You do that for me? She's like, heck no. I'm doing this for Dad. Okay, he really wants you to be here
And also so I can hold this over your head for all eternity.
forever. And I was like,
As a
yes,
sister would
she
do.
has gained the upper hand in the sibling world. Okay,
Oh yeah, for sure.
she is the queen now.
So she has to she orders the tickets, but there has to be a password put on it because he doesn't have ID to pick it up. So the password is I don't remember, but something about
I'm a super jerk.
I'm a super
I'm a
jerk
super
and my
jerk. Tracy's the
sister
best
is a
and-
queen.
Yeah.
And he gets a ticket, and she's like, okay, where's your ID? And he's like, what was the point of my password? And I'm like, you're an idiot. You have to have ID to get on the plane. Like, how did you
This
not
whole
think of
password
that?
nonsense is all very pre
Yeah.
9/11.
I was gonna say this is so pre 9/11
What are you
because
talking about?
well, and
That's very true.
And it's funny too because I don't mean to call people kids, but Luisa's students, I know we've talked about this before, but the students that Luis is teaching in high school right now were not alive during 9/11.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, they were alive.
Maybe
but
they were like a baby.
They weren't conscious.
they were born after. Right. So
After
if they were
9/11
born
already
after, that
happened.
means they weren't alive. Okay. Sorry, Luis and I were having a brain fart.
Dude, that's so hard for me to comprehend.
So they weren't
For
alive.
sure. So that means that everything the way it is now post 9/11 with TSA and everything is the only thing they're ever going to know. So they won't know the difference between how hard it is to travel now.
Right. Yeah.
And even not that this has anything really to do with this, but I have to get my ID renewed this year, and I don't have the real ID yet.
You gotta get
and
it.
I was like, dude,
The
I
real
have to
ID.
get it because if I don't, I can't
You
fly.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
And we got to fly up in
You gotta
here.
fly.
I don't know where
I
we're flying, but we got to
believe
fly
I
No
somewhere.
one's gonna let us fly, but we gotta fly.
I believe I can touch the sky.
That's from the Space Jam.
There's a pandemic every night and day,
every day.
but I will still
Put a
get
mask
on
on
my
and stay
way.
away from me.
All right. So Jake does not get this plane ticket at the airport.
No, of course not.
Despite the pre 9/11 rules, he still
That
can't-
lady
still can't
laughed
get
in
one.
his face.
She was like, he's an idiot.
So he immediately sees a dog being taken
Oh.
into the undercarriage of some plane.
I knew that was happening. I
That's such a movie thing to do.
Yeah, he stows away. He stows away with a dog on the
On the cargo plane.
on the cargo of a plane.
oh my god, no, thank you.
Cool.
Bad Ringo, bad Ringo.
Oh yeah, Ringo's in there farting. Big farting.
Flatulence.
The good thing it was probably only a 2-hour flight, even though that's awful.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't too
Yeah, it
bad.
probably wasn't too bad.
But yeah, and then he gets off of it, and basically at this point, it's Christmas Eve, so he's just booking it to try to get home. He gets off
Yeah.
from the airport. He's trying to hitch a ride with people. Nobody wants to give him a ride, so he hops on top of a car
Like a Volkswagen.
because that's fine. You can do that, didn't you know?
He's waving to the kid inside through the window and stuff.
Santa Claus.
And eventually he has to roll off that car because they make a wrong turn. And he's yelling at the lady driving, no, don't turn. What's wrong with you? Why would you turn?
Go straight. He sees
And he makes it all the way from JFK to some semi-upstate New York area. I'm like,
yeah.
First off, the person driving the car, how could you not notice?
Oh, I wouldn't know if someone's on my car.
He's banging
for
around
sure.
up there.
Oblivious.
People are probably honking at her because there's a Santa on her car
He sees a parade nearby, and there's a sleigh
with a horse.
with a horse, and so he steals it. Oh my gosh! And then he's like,
He
That
rides
was-
like the wind. He's
I
ripping and roaring
kind
through
of
the
thought that
streets.
was a bizarre part to the movie. I don't mind that there was a parade
Yeah.
at all, but I didn't understand why everything was presents and why all of the people in the parade were dressed up as presents.
Oh, yeah.
And then
'Cause
the
they
lady
made
was
their
like,
own outfits.
"Stop unwrapping yourselves!" What is
What are you
happening?
talking about?
I mean, seriously, who you got in that parade? Toddlers?
Dude.
You know what you signed
"You
up for?
unwrap yourself. You are not in my
Why
parade."
should she have to warn grown adults to?
To not unwrap
Yes.
their
And who
gigantic
does
costumes.
a parade right on Christmas Eve like that?
It's on Christmas
I've
Eve. It's at
never
night.
heard.
It's at the middle of it's 6 o'clock, but
I've never
It's
heard of a parade on
1998.
Christmas
it's
Eve.
dark. Dark parade.
My
In
excuse
upstate
is
New
it's
York.
1998. Anyway,
Yeah.
so then he's barreling through the town in his freaking horse-drawn carriage, runs over some freaking carolers dressed in Dickens
That
attire.
was hecka funny.
What song are they singing? Was it like Noel or Ode to Joy or something like that?
I don't know. I wish it was God Rest You Merry Gentlemen like they do
No,
in The
it wa-
Grinch.
it
That
was,
makes me laugh every time.
I don't remember what
I
it
don't
was.
remember, but they get run over by the by the horse and buggy.
Might have been like the first Noel or something.
No, they were saying that shepherds quake at the sight.
Silent Night?
Silent Night.
Silent Night. There we go. So Jake he pulls up. We think he's home. He hops out and then he looks up through the window and it's Allie.
And that's when you realize they lived near each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last
At-
3 minutes of the
At
movie.
the end of the movie, he's
was
at
mad.
Allie's house, and it could even be confusing.
It was still
Here.
confusing because I thought
Did he go to a different town?
he went to a different town. I thought, dang, he went to a town like
right. He completely.
Dude,
does
I'm
not
going to
with that
look up
Porsche.
where Larchmont, New York is because that's where they went.
Yeah.
I want to see where it is near JFK. But yeah, he goes to
not close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If Larchmont is a real place, which I'm gonna hope it's not, because that's a nasty sound.
Larchmont. So shout out to Larchmont. So he goes. He goes up to Allie. He says, "Come out here. Come hang out with me on the sleigh." They have a little heart to heart. They make
It's a real place. Larchmont, it's a village in New York State. Larchmont is located within the town of something in Westchester County, New York, 18 miles northeast of Midtown Manhattan. So he went 18 miles, probably 20 miles.
I mean, it
Well,
is.
JFK's not in Midtown though.
Right.
Oh.
I don't know where exactly JFK is.
It only has a population of 5,000 people. So it's a very small town.
Must
Gotta
be
do
nice.
Got to do the directions. So he's with Allie. They're making up.
They're home for Christmas.
Yeah, they've made it home for Christmas. I guess it's still like 5:54 or whatever, 5:56 maybe, and so they
And here we go with Emily's like aha moment.
they rush across town, across the street, across the block. I don't know how
Like
far they
around
have
the
to
corner
go.
practically.
Yeah, they go within the same neighborhood. And rush up to Jake's actual house where we see his family in his windows, and they sit outside in the front of the buggy. He goes, "What time is it?" She says, "It's 5:59. He says, "Okay, cool. Tell me when it's after 6 o'clock." She's like, "But Jake, the Porsche, it's right there in the grass in the of the front of the house. Why was it outside like that? Did you notice
Because
that?"
the dad was like presenting it
Oh, okay.
all nicely, I'm sure.
Interesting.
I don't know. I thought that was awkward.
And
I
the
thought
only
he was
reason
trying
he-
to be.
Presenting his parent card because he lost it at that point. Trying
Yeah.
to bribe his kid.
Oh, for sure.
So Jake is making another selfless act to forego the Porsche and wait outside until it's time. And he takes a look in and he sees his family and he's happy, I guess.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, look at my family.
Look at my family. Look at
He's
them.
supposed to be selfless, like changed at this point.
Right. But like you should want to get in there.
And at this moment, Andre was like, this dude got to stink right now. Like, he kept saying it, like, as the scenes were going on, he was like, he has to stink.
Jake is straight stanky. He's been running around in a velvet Santa suit
Anyways.
for 4 days.
He walks into his house with his family, and his family's all excited he's there. The dad tries to give him the Porsche, and he says, no, we're not done fixing it up, right? I got to come back for many more Christmases to help fix up the Porsche. And so then there's just one big happy
The
family.
Porsche, too.
The Porsche and the Porsche.
Yeah. Then it's one big happy family now, and then
Porchy.
they all go outside, and they hop on the sleigh in the parade, and that's the end.
Yes. Also,
They're in a one-horse open sleigh.
yeah. But
Oh, also Eddie got arrested. That was funny.
80.
80.
Eddie.
Eddie got arrested back in the Santa Run town.
Yeah, that was funny.
For
And we let him go. We said, bye,
Oh,
Eddie.
yeah, he's like, Jake, you gotta come to the station. You gotta come bail me out. And Jake's like, I don't care even
First
an
off-
iota about you anymore.
I don't know a law that says he can't say what he said. Why'd he get arrested? Just because he called the...
He said, move your jingle balls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What law is he violating?
definitely shouldn't have been arrested for that.
Well, okay.
His family's going to get a pretty hefty amount of
yeah,
money
Yeah.
back.
fine.
Wait until my father hears about this. FYI, Luis and I had a pretty good talk about this yesterday on our way home. Did we talk about this on the podcast that we went on a walk?
No.
I don't think so.
Yes, that you went on a walk and got some hot chocolate and came back.
Yeah.
Oh, to Dutch Bros.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that on the podcast?
Yeah, you said
Okay, good. So when we were on that walk, we were on our way back, and we like to laugh because I say that there is a bike gang in our area.
Oh,
that-
yeah,
that
I know
these-
what you mean.
These kids that just like ride on their bikes and stuff.
we got
And then
one
I
of
was like,
those,
oh,
too.
look, here's the skate gang. They're coming.
Skate
I
gang.
hope they don't come against the bike gang, right? And they were just like a whole bunch of kids. They were coming from the university, which is right next to our house, and they're like skateboarding, and like preteens. They're just so annoying.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah.
if you're a preteen. But
I'm
they're
not
like,
sorry. You are annoying.
they're like screaming and like get ready to bleep it, Louis or Andre. He's like, they're like, oh. Right? They're just screaming.
They
and-
mostly just make sounds.
yeah. But then you see the university police coming up, and I'm like, is it necessary to scream like that when they're like when they're just right there? And Louise is like, it's because you had this huge swisher. I'm like, no, like it's probably because they're all minorities and they probably think they're gonna get arrested for something. And he's like, you what? Yeah, well that too. And I was like, wow, I'm starting to understand.
Yeah.
Poor
Skate
man.
gang. Leave that skate
Well, I
gang
mean,
alone.
also too, like unfortunately, the skate culture has always kind of been seen as
rebellious.
you can't rebellious. You can't skate on that. And usually,
Well, they're skating on stuff they shouldn't be skating on. Put your skateboard on the skate ground.
Let them be free. Let them skate.
And then you know who we found after that?
Who?
Just 2 minutes later, the bike gang.
Gang, gang.
I
We got
swear
a bike
I felt like
gang
West
where we
Side
live
Story
too.
when he's walking down back home.
Bikes versus boards.
And they
Bikes
were
versus
they were
boards.
snapping. Okay, they
God.
were snapping.
Snapping and skating.
And then Emily's favorite part of the movie was, the credit song.
Merry Christmas.
That's a bop. Happy holiday.
Wanna
I didn't tag the Walt Vault. I should have. Did you see my Instagram story of Andre's really awesome dance to this?
No. Christmas time is
Let me see if it's
here.
still on here.
It's a message from above.
While I'm finding
God
that,
sent you
talk
his
about the
love,
tomato because I'm
and
upset.
everything's okay. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Well, it's not all okay, according to the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie. On Rotten Tomatoes, this film has a
Oh, Andre.
23%.
Oh, Andre, this dance.
Oh, we're watching that?
Oh my.
Do you have that saved?
I'll save it right now.
Okay.
Can you
save.
save this so that we can?
I'll put
Good.
it- I'll put it in
God.
the video.
Good. God. Good. God. Oh no, it keeps getting worse. What did you do? Smack the wall?
I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Sometimes when you feel it, you just gotta,
Oh, we
gotta
will
let it
post
go.
that so that you can see it.
Yeah,
Looks like he's chopping up jingle balls.
I'm chopping pineapples
Okay, I
in there.
saved it.
Anyway, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes has a 23%. That's out of 100%. The audience
Upset. I was like, okay,
the audience score is 41%.
still not good.
The
And
critics-
what is? Yeah.
Critics' consensus says neither parent nor child will find any merriment in this mess. And that's all it says.
Wow.
Read me the one that said about using flatulence.
This family comedy finds unearned laughs in old women and dog flatulence. That was
People didn't like it, and I don't agree.
Those are the two things they
that was
chose.
written in Entertainment Weekly.
But also, didn't we have a listener say like they were asking when we were going to do this movie?
So that was one of my friends. Yes.
Yeah.
She was asking like, what do you guys think about that movie?
Well, I'll let you know what I think.
ratings.
Okay, so this is really hard to rate because it's like a childhood favorite of mine. It's one of my favorite movies. I think in the realm of Christmas movies, like this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I have to watch it every Christmas. Like it's my Christmas movie. But like overall as a movie, I'll say it's an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a good movie. I enjoy it. It's very silly. You have to be in the mood to watch it and suspend a lot of disbelief and just like go into it in that manner. But JTT and Jessica Biel had star performances, and even the Ed Man. Like, it was really funny, and I enjoyed
I think
it.
Nelson was the best.
Nolan.
Nolan.
That's what I said.
Oh,
Nolan
man.
is out here killing it.
And yeah, I just
he was
I
killing the
just
game.
like-
Okay.
I think from
And killing the Santas.
from a kid perspective too, like once you're on the road, it's like adventure to new adventure to new adventure, and they're like weird adventures and like not really expected. So
Right.
I like that. It's silly. It's like my Elf movie. Like I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because, like, when they got into these predicaments, I kept thinking to myself, like, how is he going to get himself out of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I, feeling like a capable adult, am like, I don't know how he's going to get out of that.
No
Yeah.
clue.
Especially, like, by practical means. Like,
Right.
he literally has everything taken from him.
Yeah. How you gonna stop
It's
this
true.
bus?
And this is way pre-cell phones, like the way we have cell
Right.
phones.
Cell phones would have solved this movie pretty quickly.
Easily.
You know.
But they ain't no cell
But
phones.
yeah, just all
Luis?
JTT and his wits.
What are you going to give this movie?
I ain't that smart. I'll tell you that.
I'd give it a 7. I'd definitely watch it again. Actually, no, never mind. I won't watch it again. I'll give it a 7 though.
Acceptable.
Never again, but jolly good.
I'll
I
watch
don't
it
think
every
that's
year.
true. I think you'll watch it again.
No,
I think Addie might think this movie is
I
funny one
cannot
day.
suspend disbelief in this.
You have-
Geographically, it's awful.
Oh my god, get out of here.
But you can suspend disbelief for Pikachu?
It's a cartoon.
Well,
Even
this
when
is
it's not.
This is real life.
No
It's
cell
real.
Don't
phones.
tell me that the fastest way to New York from SoCal is to go up pretty much.
Ain't
the
nobody
whole
said it was
United
the
States.
fastest
And
way.
then
He
come
had to go
all
to
the way
Nebraska.
down and then go all the way back up again.
Sweetie,
He
nobody
didn't
said
have
it
a
was.
choice.
Yeah, nobody said it was
That's
like
who
his
he could
preferred
hitch a
way to
ride
go.
From.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't the fastest, but it is interesting that he and Allie got home at similar times. You know,
That's true.
she took a pretty straight shot.
Yeah.
She drove, and then she got on the bus and drove, and then he went zigzag up, down, all around.
It is what it is.
He was
Andre,
there
what
like-
are you going to give this movie? Wait, we didn't talk about money, but go ahead and rate it anyways.
Oh, okay, yes.
I don't think it made much.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna give this movie a. Yeah, I think I'll give it a 7. 6.5. 6.5.
Oh my heart.
I'm
It
gonna
was a
6.5.
C and now it's a D.
I know. I'm sorry,
Aw.
but
Oh.
as we said, all the funny parts they do hit, and I do like them, and they do make me laugh. This movie is funny, and I like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Jessica Biel's performances in this. But the way that the movie is not structured, but like the way that each situation arises
It's funny.
is ridiculous,
Uh-huh.
and I can't turn my brain off enough to not notice how ridiculous it is, even if they do end up paying off. Like each situation I think pays off in a pretty satisfying way, but as he's getting into each situation, it's just like, what is happening and what is happening and what is happening? But then he goes like, hey, here's a lie and I'm out of here, bye-bye.
It's so
I like,
funny.
I like it for that reason.
All right, very good.
So I'm going to agree with that statement for this purpose. Like, I was very annoyed, and this is an adult annoyance. This is not a kid's annoyance. But I don't know who is this movie geared for? Kids?
I don't know.
Teenagers?
Rated PG.
Me.
Yeah, I guess teenagers.
Thieves? Murderers?
Assassins?
Assassins?
I don't know because I remember growing up with this movie, so I think I watched it as a small kid.
Yeah, but was
until-
it geared for you?
I don't know, but I liked it.
The only reason I ask is because, like, Nolan runs over JTT, and then they get pulled over, and my adult brain immediately is like, why did you switch him spots
Right.
to now be in the driver's seat? You have no driver's license. You're going to admit to driving all over the road and
You don't own this
speeding
car.
and
There's stolen goods in the
yeah,
back.
like you literally are putting yourself
I think teenagers. I think
But,
it's
like,
geared to teens.
No, and okay, so that's fine. But like going back to what Andre said, my adult brain is like, no.
Right.
Like, stop. No, 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 no. So
Yeah.
it is satisfying in the fact that he can get himself out of that in some ridiculous way, but the way that it comes upon makes me very uncomfortable. But it is cute.
Yeah.
It was very fun. So I'm gonna say I'll give it a 7. I thought that it was cute. I could not stand Ed Man, but
Right.
But
I
he
wasn't
was funny.
supposed to.
Yeah,
I was supposed to be annoyed by him.
exactly. It's so interesting because I have such a different perspective because like this was my childhood Christmas
Right.
movie.
You grew up with
So
this.
like you're not gonna convince me it's bad. I think this is like one of the best movies ever. Like I love it. But you guys are watching it from an adult brain.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting. And I hear all the qualms because watching it this time I'm like, okay.
Which is funny.
that doesn't make sense, but whatever.
And it's funny to me that, and of course I see why it's a Christmas movie, but in general, it's not that Christmassy.
No.
Like
Right.
if you really think about it, like I get that there's Santas, and I get that he's in the Santa suit,
And it's about family.
But
Yeah.
like, in general, it's not very Christmassy.
Maybe
Right.
that's why I like it though, because I don't really like super Christmassy movies that make me feel a lot of things a lot. Like I like this movie because it's just stupid.
Right. 'Cause
It
it's just
definitely
silliness.
is more silly and fun than it is like
Feels type of thing.
holly jolly, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
No, yeah, it was cute, and I am happy that I went into it with the mindset that I did because I don't think that I would have liked it as much had I not.
If you had shut it down.
Yeah, you have to, and maybe that's why Andre didn't like it as much the first time, is because I was like, "You're watching this, you're
Right.
watching it," and you were like, "What?"
And you were like, it's the greatest movie ever.
And you were like, "What is wrong with her?"
Right.
Like,
There's no way it can.
I think we have realized that over time we can't like over hype something up for each other.
you
Correct.
can't.
Because every time we've done that, one of us has been let down. Because like
Yeah.
for McFarland USA, I remember Luis watched it. He made me watch it. Then I think Michelle watched it over here. And then you went home and was like, yeah, Andre, it's just so good. And then Andre watched it and was like, not that good.
Yeah.
And we were all like, no, Andre is really good. And he was
it's like that. Like, all I can say now is like, "Oh, I like that movie."
Yeah.
Or like Luis was like, "I'm so excited to watch The Good Dinosaur," and I was kind of hyped for it, and then I watched it and was like,
yeah.
you know.
Indeed.
But that's kind of the fun in this, though, is that we have our own opinions, and we want to know yours. Tell me, did you like this movie?
That's right.
I wouldn't tell her. She sounds kind of aggressive right now.
Please let us know if you enjoyed this movie just as much as Michelle, or, just as much as me.
It didn't make money, did it?
I am so surprised, though, I will say, about the score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, 23% is pretty low.
20-something is giving it a 2.
It must have had
Yeah.
to come out with some other Christmas movie that hit hard, you know?
But why would that give this a low score?
Just people were
Yeah,
like,
people-
this is way dumb compared to that.
People bombed it pretty hard. It says audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of a B+ or an A+. A B+ on an A+ to F scale. Roger Ebert gave the film 1 star and described the film as Pleasantville made from an antimatter, saying the film is about people who seem to be removed from a 50s sitcom so they can spread cliches, ancient jokes, dumb plotting, and empty, cheerful, sanitized gimmicks into our world and time.
But I think that's the kind of movie it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be this cheesy, funny, gimmicky,
Right.
like, and if you're in the mood for that, it's like really good.
Yeah, I don't think that the people making this were like, I'm making the best Christmas movie
No.
ever made.
They were
Not
like,
that.
let's just do some fun, weird adventure thing.
Yeah. So it had a budget of $30 million, and throughout its entire run, it grossed a whopping $12 million.
Ooh, that's bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Even with Jonathan Taylor Thomas as the lead,
Yeah, it turns
girls
out
liked him.
he's not the draw. That
Okay, well, maybe this
they
movie
thought he
became
was.
more culty after. You know how some movies were not popular and then
But
all
is
of
it
a sudden,
culty?
I don't know how culty it is. I
don't know.
you, and that's about it.
Ugh, fine.
And you family.
My family loves this movie.
Yes.
Use family.
I used to say two time and ho and get in trouble, and then do the yodeling thing in the car. And my mom would tell me to shut up, because like you know, like back in the day when there wasn't like TVs in the vans like popped up from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Then my parents had this super chunky miniature TV, and they would put it up on the armrest, and plug it into the lighter.
We remember you telling us about it, yes.
And then I would watch this on VHS,
Van
and I would
Hacks.
start yodeling, and my mom would be like, "Shut up."
She set up all that stuff for you just to yodel.
I wish
tell
you
you
would
to
have
shut
filmed
up.
me yodeling yesterday. It was pretty good.
It was marvelous.
It was quite good.
Yeah, best yodeling I've ever heard.
Was it as good as Andre's dancing?
Oh, we're gonna post that, so y'all find out.
I guess it's
He was chopping it.
it's the
Okay.
same. So before I announce our next movie, I just received an email to
What?
contact at the Walt Vault.
Like you just got it while we're recording?
I just got it right now while recording.
Who knew?
Shut up.
It says, "Dear Walt Vault, I've been listening to your podcast for a few days now, and I love it. I'm on episode 22, and each episode so far has made me laugh out loud to the annoyance of my family. The joy you all bring is especially appreciated right now with all the stress of the coronavirus and the current political climate and my college applications. Thank you for all you do. Signed, Marquita."
Marquita, I'm sorry we talked about your demographic in this. And I'm sorry that we said you were annoying. You're not annoying.
It says, "P.S. If you're still taking movie recommendations, you should watch Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. personally, I'm curious about what non-book fans will say.
Those are actually not that bad. I remember watching that one.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched them.
I watched A Percy Jackson. I just don't remember which one.
Right. I think that kind of series is definitely up my alley. The YA
like the
Chosen One.
reminds me like Hunger
Yeah.
Game type of,
Yeah.
like book vibes.
Greek mythology kind of stuff. So and that I believe is on Disney Plus. So and they're making a new one.
I think it's more Harry Potter-esque
Right.
than Hunger Game-esque.
Yeah.
I'm about it.
Yeah. So
Me
maybe
too.
maybe we will.
Oh
check
my
that out.
gosh! Well, thanks.
Thank
Wow, you got
so
an
much.
email, babe.
I know. I was very excited.
Once you get to episode 131, you'll hear the shout out.
Yeah, Marquita. maybe I'll email you back.
Did
and-
Marquita give
We should
us?
email her back.
Did Marquita give us like a handle or anything? Is she on our social media, or how did she find us?
Don't know.
Andre, get the info.
I will respond
We're gonna email
to Marquita.
you back, Marquita.
Marquita, respond now.
But we should send a picture of our faces, just like hello.
We're recording.
It's me.
Um,
Is it me you're looking for?
Yeah, we're sorry for making you laugh out loud to the annoyance of your family.
I'm
That's
not-
that's us.
I'm
on
not
a
sorry.
daily.
That's my whole job.
That's literally what I'm here for, is to annoy your
So
family.
annoy your family and get somebody to laugh.
Oh wait, Andre's gonna take the picture that we're gonna send to you, Marquita.
Hello. Okay, great.
Luis is in the corner covering his face. Who are you? You wonder
that
why
look
our
good?
kid
Let me
does
see
that.
it.
His face is already covered by a mask.
Wait.
But,
You wonder why our kid does that in pictures, Luis.
That's pretty good.
Good God. It's a good picture.
It's not bad.
Beautiful.
I mean, if you crop Luis out,
Oh
it's a
well,
good
thanks,
picture.
babe. You got an email.
Yes, thank you, Marquita. Thank you for emailing in. You can email in as well to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com.
She just slid right into those
She slid
emails
right
there.
into our
Slid
DMs,
in 'em.
and I responded gratefully. Thank you very much, Marquita. So next week we will be finishing up our
Oh yes.
Christmas
It's
films.
another one of Emily's choices.
Yes, with
But hold on, Emily's never seen it, so let's not get crazy
Oh.
with it's Emily's
None of
choice
us have
and
seen
she
it,
knows.
right? None of us.
correct. None of us have seen.
Raise your hand if you haven't seen this movie.
Ain't nobody has seen this movie.
I don't even know what
Fun.
this movie is.
I forgot what the title was for a second.
We're gonna appeal to the old people
We
right
are
now.
watching the 1961
Oh, dear.
live-action film "Babes in Toyland."
I think it's a musical
I think you're right.
Wait, why?
because Emily chose it.
Emily picked it.
Why?
Dun, 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 dun.
That is definitely not
No,
the movie.
we chose this
That's-
movie because we didn't want to do the Nutcracker. Remember?
that's right.
Because that's cliche.
But isn't
Oh,
Babes in
oh.
Toyland? No, it's not the same.
It's
as
about a
Nutcracker
Nutcracker, I
at
think, or soldier, toy soldier.
Toy
all.
Soldier.
Toy Soldier. That's why I got that confused.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
We
do
had
it.
thrown out the Nutcracker in the 4 realms.
It may or may not be an explicit episode, depending
Why
on how
did
this
we-
movie turns out.
Why did we decide not to do Home Alone?
because it's not a Disney movie,
And we haven't started doing the
and we
non-Disney
haven't
movies yet.
started doing all the Fox
Right.
movies. No, we
Taking your
haven't
suggestions for
Well, technically,
January.
This is very
Do
much
you
to
want
me a Disney movie, Christmas movie.
Home Alone? Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It is a Christmas
One
movie.
100%.
So we
like
maybe
it.
can do it next year.
21.
Indeed. But for now, you will have to listen to us talk about Babes in Toyland.
Don't stop this podcast. Don't stop it. Don't stop it now.
We're
Don't
not-
stop the
What?
We
podcast.
ain't stopping
Don't-
yet.
Stop the podcast.
If you want to, you can pause it, but don't stop
No,
it.
it's okay.
Don't.
I
Don't
Bow.
stop the podcast.
I can still tell them about our social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Head on over to any of those podcast platforms and let us know what you thought of this movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Did you think JTT was slimy or charming? Did you think Jessica Biel was nice or naughty? I don't know I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm vamping.
You are vamping rough. It is so hard.
Dude, Jessica Biel was hot in this movie.
Okay. She was like,
She was cute. She wasn't hot.
Whatever.
okay, hold on. First person to say 1 or 2.
One or two? One?
Two.
Okay, 1 it is.
One it is.
Quanto.
We have.
Hang on a second. Your mic is cutting out.
I'm cutting out. Do I need to talk louder?
No. Oh, wait. I think it might be me. It was my headphones. Anyway, continue.
So, we had another giveaway this week because we are just giving
That's right.
away.
Yeah.
And this
Giving
time
season.
it is a ornament. And because Andre has chosen one,
Mm-hmm.
the winner
Oh, I chose the winner. Oh, cool.
is
Somebody.
Christina Dykhouse.
Casino
Good job,
Daco.
Which, if I'm correct, is a relation of Lizzie who won last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they both have the same last name. And I mean,
Did
you
we
know.
rig this?
Interesting.
I
No.
did not. Well, you chose the
Oh,
winner.
yeah. Did I rig this? No. You won completely on your own merits and through the randomness of the internet. Thank you very much for entering the giveaway. An ornament is on its way.
And thanks for answering the question. It was.
Oh,
This
yes.
was the question.
What was the question?
What Fox-owned movie or movies available on Disney Plus now are you interested in us featuring on the podcast for our new Foxy
Podcast.
January? And
My podcast.
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 and
Check in me my
Christina
car
said,
keys.
"I'm not sure if Anastasia is a Fox movie, but I do love that movie, and it's just
Ooh.
put on Disney Plus."
Well, that is
Anastasia.
definitely on the list for January.
And then you want to know what else is?
Hmm.
The Sandlot.
Oh.
Now, The Sandlot
That's
is
not
not
Fox.
actually on Disney Plus.
Oh.
The Sandlot itself. There's a Sandlot sequel on there.
Oh.
I looked this up because I also saw that response.
Oh, I thought it was on now.
There's a Sandlot sequel, and I can't speak to the validity of.
But
Oh,
any of
so
those.
I'm a liar when I said Sandlot was on there.
I mean, we can still do the
It might
Sandlot.
be on there eventually.
It might be on some other service, but
Those remakes are never good. Though.
right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we could watch the original somewhere, but it wouldn't be on Disney Plus. Is all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Okay.
sure, Anastasia.
But Anastasia is definitely going to be on
hands
the docket
down.
quite soon.
All right, pretty people. So let's just throw it out there. At this point, Andre has given you access to our super long reaction.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yes,
That
the
was actually a very good episode.
bonus episode of Cracking the Vault.
It was definitely not. But we hope that you listened, and we would like to hear what you're interested and excited about.
Yes, let us know, please, of all the either the new Disney stuff, the new Pixar stuff, the new Marvel stuff, the new Star Wars stuff, or any of the old Fox stuff, the old Touchstone stuff, whatever else, Miramax,
Touchstone,
Disney
Miramax.
stuff that Disney owns. If it's on Disney Plus, it is fair game for suggestions. So please let us know. We'll be checking out Percy Jackson. We'll be checking out Anastasia. We'll be checking out all of these Disney-owned non-Disney movies, and I'm pretty excited.
So with all that said, you know that we're looking towards the next couple months with a little bit of different structure for the Walt Vault. January is going to not just be regular Disney movies, but we're going to add in Fox-owned movies.
Yes,
that are
Fox
now
owned.
Disney owned.
Yeah, we
That are
got-
Fox
Fox-
produced,
Fox-
Fox made, Fox
I don't
yeah,
know.
the Fox produced.
the Foxy.
20th Century Fox.
And so now, because they're on Disney Plus and Disney owned, we will be bringing them to you.
And Anastasia is 110% on that list because I'm stoked for that.
Yeah.
We about to be Once Upon a December, you know what I'm saying? In January.
I saw this meme and it was like, for all of you Disney people trying to convince people that Anastasia is not Disney, congratulations, you failed. Because it's on Disney Plus now. Like, we're never going to convince them it wasn't originally Disney now.
For sure. Once upon a January. You're welcome.
You're welcome indeed. So, once again, hit us up on social media. Let us know. I saw that. Let us know what you thought of this movie, what you think of Babes in Toyland next week. We will be here for you throughout the holidays with an episode coming out every Monday through the new year. So keep up with us at the Walt Vault Pod. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, all the places.
Oh my God.
Leave us a review. Sign up for our Patreon. That's patreon.com/the Walt Vault, where you can get extra content from us for only $1. And that's it. Send your emails to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we will see you guys next week for some Babes in Toyland goodness. The Vault is now closed.